Hello, everyone. Good morning. Mark Helton here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Again, it's morning here, so I can still say that for those of you that are coming in from other parts of the country and world where it's probably a little later in the day. Deal with it. So, anyhow, pretty excited about today because it is going to be the final piece of the puzzle that a lot of you guys are going to need to at least get out there and start prospecting effectively, okay? This whole course, this whole system, this whole training that we've been doing the past couple of days is nothing more than putting you on the right track to prospect and get customers, okay? And I know some people have been, hitting me up. Matter of fact, yesterday we talked about the white label. I got a lot of people hitting me up about that. But, a lot of people are in that position to where they're not 100% sure where, to go next after you get your first customer. Like, what's next? Right now we're not gonna address that today. I'll probably put out some videos here and there talking about some tips on this. But, just to give you my own background, and I don't know if I've given this story yet. By the way, can everybody hear me okay? Just put a 1 in the chat box if you can hear me. Yay. Okay, good. Awesome. I'm not talking into the microphone just for myself. That's great. So anyhow, when I first got into digital marketing back in 2000, I want to say it's either 2010 or 2011. Gosh, time flies. I'm pretty sure it was the end of 2010, beginning of 2011. That's when I kind of hit. I'll tell my little sob story. I don't tell this very often, but I'll tell my little sob story for all you guys. I had a business, and it was a lead selling business. We sold leads to contractors, and we were actually a reseller for another company that actually provided the service, and we just basically were a selling arm for them. We would sell, we'd find the clients, and our call center. And I say our because I actually had a partner. It was me and a friend that had a business where we were basically going out and finding contractors that were interested in getting leads for their business. Well, in the middle of 2000 or in the beginning of 2010, end of 2009, me and my partner split up, and he took the business over. It was more of a I walked away type of thing. And I was kind of, the last few months of us working together, I was working on a new project where I was selling this product, a no credit check financing product to businesses. And it was actually something I thought was going to take off. It was new back then, hadn't been around too long. Basically, it was like a check guarantee program, and they required the business to sign up for a lease of some equipment that was worth like $200, but they had to sign a lease for 5 years at $200 almost to sign up. And the reason why that was the case is because the business was basically paying the salesperson who was selling them, right? That was how they made their money, as the salesperson was off of the lease. Long story short, that didn't pan out for numerous reasons. Mainly for me, there are still people that are out there selling in the merchant services business and in that field. And for those of you that's been in it, or if you know anybody that's in it, it's a rough business. You either have a lot of clients and making a lot of residual, or you're starving. And I personally just didn't have the tenacity back then because I needed money now. I went from making $20,000 a month to nothing, instantly. So I didn't have the staying power to wait for months and maybe even a couple of years to build up my portfolio, to build up my client base for residual. And I just said, this isn't for me. Well, towards the end of, I was still selling it because I'd get a deal here, a deal there. But towards the end of 2010, things just got really, really rough, to the point to where, I don't brag about this because everybody has their story, and I'd like to say that I've always been, successful. And I have. When I sold, I sold. If I could sell, I could sell. I will always be able to go out and hunt. It's like being a hunter. If you watched the last webinar, selling is not my weakness. My weakness was that I didn't really have a product, and for about 4 months, from the time that I really kind of stopped doing that until I got into digital marketing, I went through a really low period. And I know some of you guys can identify with that. Some of the people on this webinar have had low periods, and maybe you're in a low period right now. There is this little time where I honestly started to doubt myself. I was thinking to myself, what have I done? I walked away from that business, because me and my partner couldn't get along. Maybe we could have fixed that. I was making good money, and then, started to second guess myself. And, we got to a point to where we couldn't even afford barely to put food on the table for a few months. Like, that was rough. I make just enough money to pay the rent and pay the 2 car payments that we had. And it wasn't like I had Audis and, Lambos in the driveway. We were living in a 900 and some square foot apartment, and I was driving a old Chevy truck, and, I was still coming out of my mortgage meltdown mayhem, and, my credit was still destroyed from losing my house and losing my cars and losing, everything, and filing bankruptcy 2 years ago. So that truck that I was driving and the car that my wife was driving were both second chance finance deals. And, it was so tough during those times that actually my truck, which we didn't drive that much because we didn't need 2 cars since I work from home, they would come to try to repossess it if it was 2 days late. And 2 days late, this was 3-4 months in a row, they would show up at my door and say, you need to pay or else we're going to take the car. And I'd pay them right then and there so they didn't take the car. But, eventually actually ended up selling that truck so we have 1 car. And I'm not telling this sob story to make anybody feel sorry for me, because there's no reason to, right? What I learned from that was, you got to have a good product, you got to have a good service to be able to offer to businesses, or else no matter how good you are at selling, it doesn't matter, right? And, I fell into digital marketing towards I got on somebody's list right around October of that year, and I read some stuff, and, it got me a little excited, got me thinking about it, and then it took a month or so for it to really sink in. And I was on a webinar for a couple marketers that were selling a service. They're selling a product to teach people how to go out and provide a service of a website, Google Places, which is what it was called back then, and a Facebook page, and helping with reputation. So they were just offering this combined service to businesses. And I sat there for a second to watch this webinar, and I didn't have the money to invest in it back then. But this was right around December, toward the end of December. I didn't have the money to invest back then, but I watched the webinar and I got excited about it. And by the way, for those of you that are listening to this story saying, where's this going? I promise you, it's going somewhere, and it relates to what we're going to talk about today. But anyways, I didn't have the money to invest at that point. I was broke. They wanted like $400 or something, $500 for this. And I knew it was worth every penny. I wanted it. I needed it. I knew I did. But I needed to get the money together first. And, so I got off that webinar thinking to myself, you know what, that's a product that I can sell. I can sell digital marketing services to businesses. I had my own mortgage company, and I did my own digital marketing services. And, I could do this. So, I remember I told you a few months before I was selling the services to contractors. And actually, I knew that I could sell those contractor services, but it just I wasn't able to fulfill on the deal. And then I moved into the selling the 90-day no credit check financing stuff, and I just couldn't make enough money doing that, but I had to contact with businesses. So what I did was I called my very first customer, and I'll never forget him. He's a plumber in Texas. I won't say his name here because I don't think everybody needs to go and contact this guy. But There was a plumber in Texas, and I had him signed up for my 90-day no credit check financing program. I called him up and I said, "Hey, I got some good news for you." Now, this was right around this time of the year. This is the end of December. Right now, it's the 21st, right? And now think about this, okay? I didn't have barely enough money to put food on the table, and on top of that, rent is due in about 9 days, okay? 9 days or whatever, the end of the year. Christmas, New Year's, all that stuff. Like, Christmas didn't even really matter. I mean, we had stuff under the tree for the kids because we, figured out a way to get them something. My wife is very resourceful and made it look like, we still were providing a Christmas for them, even though, like, they were so young they don't know. But anyways, 9 days, and it's rent's due. So I called him up and I tell him, I said, "Chad, I've got this product that we just started offering, and I wanted to tell you about it." And he goes, "What is it?" And I said, "Well, we do a website, we do your Google Places listing to get you on the first page of Google, we do a Facebook fan page for you." Now, this is back when fan pages were also new, if any of you guys have been around that long. And also, we're going to help you with your reputation. And I didn't even have to sell it, barely, right? He goes, "Really?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I've been looking for someone that does that. That's great. How much?" Now, me, being in the situation I was in at that point, looked at my rent bill, and I said, which was $1,100, and I said, "It's $1,100. And, he didn't know that we were living paycheck to paycheck at that point, and he had no idea that I had never done what I said that I was going to do for him, but he took me up on it. Now, that was my first client in this business, in the digital marketing business. And yeah, he paid my rent that month. And from that point on, I knew something in my mind changed, and I realized 100% I'll never be broke again. I'll never be in that situation again. Now, do I have times where I look at my bank account and go, "Whoa, we pulled in a little bit less than we should have pulled in this month, and our expenses are a little high, but our our revenue was too low." Yeah, that happens, and I think that's going to happen with any small startup business. And don't let anybody you listen to online fool you. Nobody has months where, or times where they don't have those types of things happen. Unless they're really their business is really mature, and so. Anyhow, I knew going on that I never would have to worry about that again because I had a product and I had a service, and I knew that the people actually needed this, and I figured out my way to get that deal done. I figured out a way to help that customer get it done. And not only did I just get it done, it was amazing. It all fell into place. He loved the product. He loved the finished product. It was a really good website. And it's amazing what you can do. For those of you that don't have a service to offer, just think about this for a second, the story. I didn't have one either. I just knew that I knew less than what you know now going to these 3 training calls that you've been on, okay? I knew less that I knew how to sell, but I didn't really have to sell this guy. I knew less about what I was offering him than you know now, and I guarantee that. So don't let that stop you from going out and putting what I've taught you over these last couple of days and what you're going to learn today into action. Be prepared to go in and make those offers and get these proposals in their hands, and then go find the work to get it done. Just make sure, and this is something that I did very well, and I still do to this day, is I set the expectation to the customer, and I let them know that it's going to take a couple of weeks to get it done. It's not something that's going to happen overnight. I give them a time frame of what it's going to take to get that done, so that way you do have time to find somebody. Now, also remember that your customers get what they pay for, and you too would get what you pay for. So if you're used to giving your services away for nothing, which I have a friend who still does that, and I get on to him all the time. He's all about the $500 website, the $750 WordPress website, and he still tries to provide good value. And I'm like, don't. Charge more, get less customers, and provide a higher level of service, because number one, it's going to help them get a better product, a finished product, and number two, it's going to help you give, be able to help them, right? And that's the point. We're all here to not just take money from a business. We're here to help that business. Okay. So if that story helped you a little bit, I really hope it did. You know, it wasn't meant to be a sob story or anything like that, because it all turned out great. Okay, it all turned out great, and your story can be just like that if you're in the same situation. Some of you aren't. Some of you guys, maybe you worked at a job for many years and you've got a nest egg, sitting there, and you're doing this because you want to grow into, this other business. Well, you're in a great situation, but don't let that nest egg get you lazy. Because I know many people that's been in that situation. Maybe you've worked for your whole life and you're in your 60s or your late 50s, and you're thinking, well, I've got all this money here, and I'm going to learn how to do something else. Don't let that nest egg get you lazy. The one thing that made me go out and get it was that I had no choice. Right? If it was either do or die, and I wasn't going to die. I wasn't going to let my kids suffer. So you got to find what motivates you and go out and do it. All right. So today we're going to talk about offers and proposals. We're going to talk about them on a very high level, though. Okay. My goal for this is not to teach you how to identify every single thing that you're going to be able to fix for a business 100% to the point to where I could show you how to do the service. Because even myself, I don't know all there is to know about those things. I can tell you where to go and get those things done. Somebody asked me, hey, I see a couple questions here. Where do I get outsourcers? Just go to Odesk, which is actually now called Upwork.com. Sign up for an account, and you could find people to do all these things: websites, SEO, everything. There's a lot of people out there that put out these fancy courses to teach you how to be run your business to this level where you've got, all this systems and stuff like that. And eventually you'll need that, okay? But if you're just starting out, you really don't. You just need to be able to find somebody that can help you provide the service. Don't be the guy who says you're going to do it all yourself. Because, yes, you'll save some money. And I'm not going to lie. I did this in the beginning, so I'm telling you from personal experience. If you start in the beginning doing what I did, it's going to hinder the amount of sales that you can get, because you're going to be selling somebody and then trying to do what you sold them. And while you're doing that, you can't get another customer, right? Unless you're working 18, 20 hours a day. And I don't suggest that. I suggest you spend more time prospecting and pay a couple $100. There's offshore helpers that you can find that can do a website that's beautiful for a few $100 that your customer is going to love. There's content writers online that can do content for you for I used to pay $10 a page for content back in 2010. I don't know what it would cost now for the kind of content that I'm doing. But basically what I'm getting at is don't overthink that. Don't overthink, how do I get these services done? Right now you should be considering, if you're in a situation, how do I get out of this hole that I'm in? Make sure you go out and prospect enough, find the right business that you can charge the right amount of money to. Not because you're greedy and you're going to take all the money for yourself and block. No, you got to help yourself so you can help them. You got to charge them enough so you can provide the level of service that they deserve, and then you provide them that good product, and you're going to get referrals, and everything's going to be great. Okay. Hope that helps. Okay, now that took a little bit longer than I thought to get into this, but that's okay, because this isn't going to be a long webinar anyhow compared to yesterday. This isn't going to be a long training session. We're going to go over this, like I said, from a very high level. Now, the last 2 days, you learned everything I think you need to know to have a good foundation. You learned how to sell without selling, okay? You learned how to, prospect daily, and that's the big thing. If you're not prospecting daily, then none of the stuff that I'm teaching you today is going to even matter, because you're not going to have enough prospects to talk to that can use your services. Okay. Today what we're going to do is we're going to fill in the blanks. Okay. I'm going to fill in the blanks on how to actually identify what your prospect needs. Now everybody should have the prospect interview questions that I sent you. If you don't have that, I'll drop a link in here again. It's I'll say it as I'm putting it in here. It's mark-helton.com/OAP. That stands for for offers and proposal, TEMPS, T-E-M-P-S. Okay, but I just dropped the link in there for everybody who's here. You can just click on that and download it. So what you're going to get is in that prospect interview question is just the questions that you should be asking to try to get an idea of what your customer's looking to do. Now, this is separate from the qualifying questions that you did in the original presentation or the appointment setup to schedule your presentation. Okay, and some people asked me before, like, well, when do I do these prospect interview questions? Do I do them after I schedule an appointment? Do I do them when I call them back? You're going to have to identify that. When is the right time? Because I'd like to say just do it this way and it's always going to work, but it's not. You're going to have to figure out when's the right time to do it. You might want to do it the initial call, just and some people are like, well, gosh, I feel like I'm asking 20 questions. You are. But the more questions you ask, the more you're going to identify about that customer, what their needs are, and how you can help them. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is what to offer your prospect. Okay. And you got a checklist that I gave you that also it's called my prospect analysis checklist, and this is going to let you do some research on them, and you can look and see specifically what their needs are outside of what they've told you. Okay. And then last, I'm going to kind of talk about how to present the offer. Okay, you've got this proposal template. I'm going to explain to you how that should be delivered and what to do to get the deal. Okay, so is everybody excited about this? Yes? Good. Okay, great. All right. So number one, this whole thing, hopefully you've gotten from this that this is about positioning. Okay, you're not a big company. So you're not going to be the low price leader, okay? You are a consultant, okay? Now, you got to start somewhere. Some of you may actually already be a big company and, or you may have a decent sized team and stuff like that. But right now, for the most part, I think most of you are consultants. You have a small team. So don't try to be the low price leader. You got to make sure that you charge enough for what you're trying to do, okay? You're not going to be able to grow your business if you don't do it the way that we've talked about, okay? You're a digital ad agency. You're not a website guy, okay? And that's another thing. Positioning yourself as a website guy means that they can get their friend or their cousin or their uncle or whoever else is selling websites, because you can buy WordPress. Anybody can buy a WordPress template and modify it these days. Anybody can go and sign up for a website program and build a website. Like GoDaddy has the website tonight, and you got Wix, and there's all these tools to make it easy for someone to just build a website. So if you position yourself as a website salesperson or a company that sells websites, then you're gonna struggle with positioning yourself at the price points that you need to price at to be able to help these people. You're a digital ad agency. Your goal throughout this whole process to help them generate more revenue. Okay? This is to generate more revenue. It's not to generate. It's not to just build them a website or to sell them a product. We talked a lot about that yesterday. We talked about, the value that you're building with your customers, not selling features, but selling benefits. And that goes back to this whole thing. If you sell on benefits and, in the beginning, and then you get the features out and start selling on the features when you do your presentation or your offer or proposals, then you might as well have not done anything that you did to get them to that point. Okay? All right. And I could see some of you guys are throwing in, ideas and stuff like that, and that's great. I appreciate it. I'm not going to mention them all because I don't want to get people confused. So, but I do appreciate your comments. Don't be like the rest. Remember, you provide solutions to their problems. You're not selling them that service or that product. You're going to discover exactly what they need, and then you're going to put together this written proposal, and that's going to set you apart from 90% of the people that are out there that are selling somebody something on the phone. Even someone like Yodel, which is a big competitor. they're selling an SEO package with PPC, and you should. That's another thing, guys. If I didn't really talk about this enough, but you should go out and identify who your competition is. Go and research digital marketing agencies. If you're going to be a digital marketing agency, look at Google digital marketing agencies. Try to identify what they're offering. I'm even a little bit sneaky, and I'll sign up as a prospect and let them present to me, and so I can see what they're offering. I know that's a little bit sneaky, but I don't feel guilty because they'll do the same thing to me. But hey, that's something you should be doing. You should be knowing what your competition's doing. Okay. Now, what's important to the customer should be the only thing that's important to you, and that is getting them a return on their investment. Mark asks, is there a way we can guarantee 2 to 3 times returns? Not sure I can do that now. Well, Mark, if you don't think you can get somebody 2 to 3 times their money, then why are you taking it? I know that's a hard question to answer, and it's probably not what you want to hear, but then if you're doing that, if you're telling me you're not sure you can do it, then don't. Right now. Don't sell it, because you're taking somebody who, like a business, for example, they may invest $5,000 with you, because they trusted you that you were going to be able to help them, and then you didn't. Now, that is not the, you could do your best for them, and as long as you explain to them what to expect and what you're going to get, well then, you did your job. Now, something too, the reason why I said that, Mark, to just kind of slap you in the face there with reality, is that most people look at a return on their investment and they think, well, how do you measure that? Do you measure that as in, I'm going to put you 2,000, or I'm sorry, I'm going to multiply that 3x your investment within when? Like a month, 2 months, 3 months? Is it a year? Is it 2 years? Is it 3 years? Is it 10 years? That all depends on you. So when you're talking to your customer and you're explaining to them what you could do for them, the whole reason why they invest in a website and the reason why they invest in an online search engine optimization is because they want it to eventually return an investment, okay? There is no such thing when it comes to SEO, and this is why I got out of SEO. This is full disclosure here, guys. I no longer sell Google ranking or SEO products to businesses, even though I still have clients that they're not paying me anymore that still get the reap the rewards from what I did 4 or 5 years ago. Like, I know they do because some of them are still using my tracking numbers, and I see that they're getting 50, 60, 80, 90 calls a month. Okay? But the reason why I got out of it is because I was looking for something quicker. So if you're looking for something quicker than SEO, or I'm sorry, if you're looking for something quicker than SEO, then you're not getting it with SEO. SEO is a long-term investment, and the companies that you sign up for this need to understand that. And that's the other thing. There are companies out there that charge a couple $100 or $90-some a month. One of those companies, actually, you could become a reseller for them, and they'll do all the work. They'll build you a website. They'll get them on the first page of Google. They'll do everything, and I think it's like $100 a month. And you can resell that for whatever price you want. But what I'm getting at is there's companies out there. If you try to compete with them, you won't be able to price-wise because they're going to undercut you. And you need to explain to your customers they get what they pay for. So if they want a good return on their investment, then they're going to have to invest a lot more money than what they would think they should be investing based off of what kind of presentations and offers that they've gone to before. Okay? Now, we talked again about this before, but I just want to say it one more time because it's important. If you qualified up front, you know going into this that you're just trying to get a yes or a no decision. You only want a decision. You don't want tire kickers. And if you made sure with all the things we talked about yesterday in the qualification process and you did your job right, well, they're going to be a fit for this. And when you give them this presentation and you give them this proposal, it's just a formality that you guys need to go through in order for you to accept their check and start doing work for them. okay? I'm not going to go back into 100% of this. If it's something, if it's something that we covered yesterday, I'm just going to say we did a really good job of going over it yesterday, so you should definitely go back and watch that if you hadn't. But, so first off, confirm that they qualify and they can invest. If you've done that, you already know that the money that you're about to tell them on the proposal is something that they can afford, okay? Number two, ask about their business and really care. I like to know as much about their business as I possibly can, and I'll even do some research because when I put together my presentation or my proposal, it's going to be tailored towards them. When I was working with a lot of roofers, and this goes back to why I told you guys in the beginning to work with one niche, because if you work with one niche, this is going to be easier for you. And number two, asking about their business, you're going to know, and you'll be able to have a good conversation about their business, okay? Investigate what they're currently doing. Go in and look at their actual, their website. Look at, I like to search their phone number in Google, and see what pops up. See what directory listings they're in, see what ads they've run. Sometimes you'll see businesses are looking for business on Craigslist. I mean, there's all sorts of things that you can find out if you just search for their names and their emails and their business name and stuff like that. Just go in and do a nice thorough investigation so you can see what they're currently doing, because it's going to also give you some insight into what they're willing to do or what they did wrong, and you can explain to them how that wasn't a good idea. And that brings us to number four, strategizing a better plan. Coming up with a solution that was more along the lines of what they had really wanted to get from the beginning. Right now I'm in the process of building a new website for Hot Prospector, and we went and hired a consultant. Now again, I'm sitting here telling you how you could sell web services, but like I told you from the beginning, I don't sell them for a reason, because I personally just would rather offer a different type of service, right? But anyways, in order to get this done right, I'm going and hiring a consultant who is a marketing consultant, somebody who knows not just how to market, but how to do, how to sell online, and who's sold lots and lots and lots and lots of money, sold done lots of transactions, generated lots of revenue online. Okay, I got this consultant to work for me who is going to put together the team. He's giving me a design team that's also had that kind of experience, and he's getting me a copywriter who's also had that experience. Now, all three of those guys didn't come together. Now, him and I have been talking now for the past week or so, and a lot of times he even reminds me of this. Your goal here is to get this, strategize this plan and do it once. He even reminds me, like, Mark, this is going to cost us an extra little bit of money here, but do you want to have to redo this again, like in a month or two, or do you want to just do it right now, the first time? And I always agree. I'm like, you're right, we need to. Let's just, make that investment. So when you're strategizing with your customers, you may have to actually remind them of that. Look, you could go to Wix, you could go to Website Tonight, or you could go to your nephew or whoever that does these websites and ask them to do the site for you, but that's not why you and I are on the phone. You're on the phone with me because you want to increase your ROI. So we need to strategize what you're looking for. We need to put together the plan, and we need to put it into action. And just so you know, $5,000 for a website for a local business is really cheap, because there's a lot of professional web design firms that are marketing firms that charge $20,000, $25,000 for a website. I had a meeting. I sat down with a owner of a digital marketing agency here in Las Vegas. I bought her lunch, and we were just having a conversation about, about business, and it was more of a marketing deal for me. I was trying to connect with her, refer business back and forth. But she told me about her business and explained to me how they run their agency and how, the cheapest website they'll take is like $5,000, but their average client's $20,000 to $25,000. That's here in Vegas. Okay. Now, a lot of you just need to get that through your head, that if you go to a company and they aren't willing to make that kind of investment, then you're just talking to the wrong company. It's not that there's not those kind of customers out there. They are. It's that you're just talking to the wrong customers, and you shouldn't be wasting your time with somebody that doesn't want to get a better plan. Number 5, make your proposal, and then, that takes some time. It's not something that you're going to slap together, but again, you're asking for more money, so you should be willing to take a little bit of time. If anybody here thinks it's just as simple as taking somebody's money, and then going on to the next customer, well then, again, you shouldn't be doing this, because this is not what you're going to get. Web services is a very serious business, and it takes time and effort to sell these types of deals. And you're going to have to spend some time working with these customers. Even if you have a team of outsourcers, you're going to have to spend some time working with them to make sure that they get what they want, because you're the architect and also the salesperson. You can have your design team, you can have all those people doing all this stuff, but you're going to have to be part of it. Okay. Number 6, present the offer. That's it. Okay. So let's get into the actual interview itself. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do before you go out to meet these customers is you're going to, or not meet these, sorry, before you go out and do your proposal, you're going to do an interview. Okay, you want to get a list of their objectives. You want to prioritize exactly what those objectives are. What is it? Are they looking to increase their profit? Are they looking to decrease their costs? Are they looking to increase awareness of their brand? Are they trying to find out what their objectives are in that order. It's funny that I say this because, you'll even come up with, you'll find people like even a real estate agent who might, you'd think, oh, well, real estate agents typically they don't have a huge budget, but they might come out of their pocket for $15,000, $20,000 for stuff just to really, we say increase awareness, but it's really about their ego. For example, I have a friend of mine who has a billboard in Vegas, and it's pointless. It doesn't do anything for him. It's a picture of him and a slogan for a product and the service that really you're not going to get customers that are driving on the freeway looking at that billboard and say, "Wow, I need to call him." Okay? The point of that billboard is for him. He drives that road every single day. His friends and his family drive that road every single day, and it's about brand. The same thing, or not brand, but it's about his ego. It's not about brand. So you got to identify what those situations are. And by the way, I will sell somebody something for their ego. Why? Because even though you think, oh, well, yeah, but you're not going to get him an ROI, that's okay. He didn't want an ROI. If he wanted an ROI, he would have done something else. He wanted that for his ego. He wanted to feel good about himself. So you did actually give him a benefit, right? Put a 1 in the chat box if any of the stuff that I'm talking about right now is clicking for you and making some sense, and you're getting some ideas and some value out of this. Okay, good. Okay, good. I just want to make sure that I'm not just saying stuff, and I don't want to scare you guys away from from doing web services. I want you to understand what you're getting into when you go out. Okay, there's a lot of profit to be had in this business, but it takes real work. Okay, it takes real work. So here's the kind of things we're looking for. Okay, so first of all, identifying their goal. Now, what is a goal? Okay, a goal is not something that you just write down, right? It's not something that, well, it's partially you have to write it down, right? But a goal isn't just some number you pluck out of the air. Hopefully everyone here has already taken time to put down their own goals. So what I like to do when I'm working with a client for the first time when it comes to web services is I want to find out specifically what their goal is. And there's certain things that I'm looking for. Is it something that's specific? Not some range of numbers. Like, hey, I'd like to make between $10,000 and $50,000 extra a month. Like, wow, that's a huge range. Like, which one is it? Is it closer to 50? Is it closer to 10? Right? And I find out specifically what that is. Okay? Measurable. Is it something that we can measure? Is it something that, like for example, Dave just mentioned, good idea to offer a call tracking service for the ego-driven billboard, ? right? Well, that ego-driven billboard isn't measurable, right? You're not going to measure how much better he feels about himself by driving by that every day. Maybe by what it does for his production, right? Because there are certain things like that that we make investments in for us that don't actually have like a number like you can assign to it, okay? So that would be a very bad goal for creating some kind of a branding campaign or something that doesn't really have them, that can't be measured. So it's got to be something that can be measured. For example, doing, the call tracking for some pay-per-click ads is measurable if you have set a goal, specific goal for what you're hoping to get out of that. Is it actionable? And this one here is my favorite, realistic. Okay, because a lot of times customers will come to you with something that, is completely unrealistic. They've never made $5 million in their business, but they want to go from making $500,000 a year to $5 million in revenue overnight. And, as much as I'd love to say I've heard of stories of that happening, it's not realistic. That's not something that you can expect to achieve, and there's no amount of money that they can throw at you to make that happen. Okay, so that's another one, realistic, and then time bound. Those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things that you need to make sure that you have the proper goal: specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound. Meaning, specifically how long it's going to take for that goal to happen. Okay. So to get these goals achieved and to get the results that you're looking for, you have to know what they want to accomplish. You need to know not just what they want to accomplish, but what specifically that's going to do for them. And for businesses, if you're depending on who you're talking to, most people here, I am going to guess, are going to be working with a lot of the smaller businesses. Okay, small means medium-sized businesses, which is great. Those people need help. They really do. Most small business owners don't know anything about marketing and websites and all that stuff. I mean, gosh, a doctor or a dentist or a lawyer, they go to school for 10 years to learn their profession, and they don't talk about web design last time I checked. They don't talk about SEO, and they don't talk about, how to market their business inside of these classes that they're taking, okay? They're so busy learning their practice in their field that they don't have time to learn these things. So they do need your help. So if you go in and you talk to them, you got to find out specifically what that's going to do for them. And when it's a small business, it really kind of goes to what is it going to do to influence their life, to impact their life, that person you're speaking with. Because usually the decision maker is the owner, right? That's usually who it is. In a small business, 5 people, 10 people, you're going to deal with the owner. And what is that going to do for the owner? Now, sometimes the owner wants to, spend this money and invest this money because they need to grow the business, because they're looking to sell the business. Maybe they're looking to put in some kind of, extra staffing, and they're looking to increase their revenues to be able to afford that. Maybe they want to spend more time with their family, and they're just trying to, to make that happen. You got to find out specifically what that is and what it is going to do for them. And then, how motivated are they for this to actually happen? Because when you come back, this is all, again, stuff that I'm finding out before I give them the number, before I tell them what it's going to cost them. Do you know why? Because if you don't know how bad they want it when you present it, then you're not going to know whether or not you can get the deal. But on top of that, if you know specifically what it's going to do for them, and you know that that's their hot button, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to explain to them how badly they need this and why they want to do it, and help them get out of their own way, so that way they can make that decision. Okay? And then the last is how long they expect it's going to take to get there. Realistically, right? Back up here to the setting of the goal. Is it realistic? Is whatever you're doing something, or whatever they're expecting, something that can actually be achieved? And a lot of times, just so you know, you're not going to 100% know everything. You can know how long it's going to take to get your services done, but you're not going to know how long it's going to take for Google to get them the numbers that they want by you getting them on the first page of Google. That, again, going back to why I got out of SEO 2, 3, 4, 5 months in, I got clients, they're already on the first page of Google within a month or so, and they weren't getting the calls and results out of it like we had anticipated. You know, even though statistically speaking, in the position that they were in, you know, Google says that they should be getting 70% of all the traffic, it wasn't working like that, right? So you've got to anticipate those types of things and make sure they're in it for the long haul and they're in it for the right reasons. Okay? So here's some questions. Now, if you guys pull out your prospect discovery questions sheet, you don't have to right now. I'm saying you'll see these questions. Okay? Now, these are questions that they can elaborate on. You can help them elaborate on, and this is going to give you a good idea, a good insight into their company. Okay? So every company should have a mission statement. Does anyone here have a mission statement for their company they'd like to share? Put it in. You know, every company should have a mission statement. So I want to ask them, what is your mission statement? What is it that your company is about? It usually is a 1 or 2 sentence deal. You know, it's nothing, it's not like they have to have like a paragraph or 2 paragraphs. It's just you want to know what makes them tick as a company. And if they don't have this, you know, this is something that a lot of consultants, you guys may, if you're not a consultant, you might actually know some business consultants that you can refer them to help them with this kind of stuff, because this is important for them to be long-term, stay in business long-term. You know, if a company doesn't know what their mission is, then, you know, what they're trying to accomplish, then, like, they don't have any real goals. It's just, they're just kind of, you know, just winging it. The number 2 here, what are some words that you would use to describe your company? You know, give me some insight into what you think about your own company. How would you explain your own company? And then, what words would your customer use to describe your company? If you asked your customers. Now, a lot of times they don't know this. And, you know, funny enough, this actually gives them an opportunity to find out. And maybe they know, they just don't want to admit it. Okay? What words would you use to describe your customer? And this is all stuff, like I said, it's important when you're putting together this kind of a package for them, because you want to know how much they know about their own customers. Like I could tell you specifically about my customers. I know 100% everything about them. And I know what they would say about me. And that helps me to do advertising and marketing for my own company, because I know what they're looking for, and I know what their goals are and what they expect to get from me. If your customers don't know those things, or if you don't know those things about your customers, it's going to be very difficult for you to put what they need in front of them. How do you feel that your company is doing from a brand standpoint? And some businesses out there don't actually even understand the difference between, you know, being, you know, having a brand and just being out there. Okay? So I would ask them, you know, as far as the city is concerned, I know you're a small business, that doesn't mean that you can't get your brand out there, especially nowadays. It's so cheap. Advertising on Facebook and Google and YouTube and all this stuff is very cheap to get your brand out there. And you know, there's lots of ways to do it inexpensively compared to the way it used to be. You have to be spending all kinds of money to get brand awareness. But for your brand as your company, you know, how do you feel that you're doing there at that level? Do you even have a brand? What are your goals? And we're not talking about just financial. I actually have this back in 2014 because this is the case. I put this course together a couple of years ago. But 2017, right? What are your goals for 2017? And we're not talking about financial. You know, where do you want to see your company some of the things that we've talked about before was what does the company or what does the owner want? What are some of their goals? Because if you know what their goals are, you'll be able to tell if the stuff that you're trying to do for them is going to line up with that. If it doesn't line up with the goals that they have, then you shouldn't be doing it. Like Mark asked earlier, what if I can't get them 3 times their money back? Well, same thing goes for this. If you can't help them with their goals, and what you're doing doesn't line up with their goals, then you shouldn't take their money. And then, ask them specifically what kind of action plan they've already implemented to achieve those goals. Now, I bet you most of the businesses that you talk to are going to be 100% absolutely shocked that you're even asking these questions, because they would expect to pay somebody, a lot more money than what you're charging them for this to happen. And this stuff that I'm giving you is going to position you as a consultant, as an agency that is going to have the ability to quickly scale and do the $25,000, $50,000 websites very quickly. You just need to surround yourself with the right team. Okay. Here's some additional questions, prospect discovery questions. How much of an impact does cost have on the type of advertising or marketing that you implement? Now, the reason why I ask this is because I'm trying to get an idea when I put together the proposal. Are they going to be really cost sensitive? If I tell them that, I'm going to charge you such and such to do this kind of a campaign per month, and I'm not talking about just SEO. We're talking about pay-per-click advertising. We're talking about advertising on YouTube. We're talking about advertising on, Facebook and different mediums or medias. You got to ask them those things. What is cost? What kind of role does cost play? Are you open to writing out a check out for something if it costs a little bit more money, but you know that it's going to get you results? What was your budget for 2000 and again, the last year? Okay, this says 2013, but we'll say 2016, because a lot of you guys aren't going to be taking action until towards the end of this year. So, it's already the end of the year. So you say, hey, what was your marketing budget this year, right? And by the way, this is a good time for you guys to get out there and start prospecting, because a lot of people still have money to spend in 2015 because they have a marketing budget to spend. They have to spend it. Okay, 2016, same thing, or 2017, sorry, same thing. Is right away, first month of the year is huge because the businesses already have new budgets. They have to, they have to allocate that money. Okay, they have to start making their investments. And if you know what their digital marketing budget was for 2016, then it's going to make things a lot easier for you to get an idea where you fit into that and how much of that budget that you can help them invest in the right direction. What are your most effective marketing or advertising campaigns? Like, what are some of the things that you do right now that's getting you the best results? And that helps for you to get an idea of what they're doing. So, if you have a service that you can offer that kind of complements that. For example, my resellers offer a lot of services like with email marketing services and direct response marketing. For example, doing text marketing campaigns and doing voicemail marketing campaigns and doing email marketing campaigns and helping them to actually remarket to their database. That is a very good service to offer somebody who's spending a lot of money bringing in new leads. Right? They've got a database, but what are they doing with that database? So if I know that they're really effective at bringing in leads, I would probably look into, the remarketing efforts and that sort of thing. What are they doing with that database once it's in? Not to plug the reseller thing so much. I bring that up because that's why I got into it. I love being able to take their database and getting them instant results. It's fun. So those are some things that you want to ask when you're asking these things. Why do you think that made, that campaign or that advertising campaign, what was so successful about those? And the more insight that you can get from these things, the better, because it's going to help you when you're putting together your ideas of where to take it. What has been the least effective marketing or advertising campaign? Where did you spend money that you wished you wouldn't have spent it? Everybody's done it. I did it recently. I hired a brand ambassador here. She worked for me for 2 months, and I overpaid her. She'd come into my office and talk to me like, up about how she's going to do this and she's going to do that, and she really just came into my office every day and sat on my couch and did some stuff on LinkedIn, which didn't really pan out. She connected with people on LinkedIn and then left with that database. So there's mine. Every business is going to have something like that. Depending on whatever it was that you did, there should be something that's instant for them to be able to address. Yes, this happened, and I will never do that again. Now, when they say never, that means you would have to really seriously give them a lot more facts of explaining what went wrong for them to make that decision again. Because if somebody made that bad decision once, guess what? As humans, we love to say we learn from our decisions, our bad mistakes, but we keep on making them. I know everyone in here has probably made a bad mistake and said you'll never do it again, and then guess what? Did it again. So you don't want to be their second bad mistake, but if you can explain to them what they did wrong, especially if it's like SEO or something like that, they invested and found out this company wasn't doing anything. And that happens a lot with SEO, by the way. That's another reason why I got out of it, is because there's a lot of SEO companies that completely just screw their customers over. They'll take $1,500, $2,000, $3,000 a month because people associate good service with lots of money, right? And then they do nothing, literally zero, nada, nothing. They just take that money. And 3, 4, 5, 6 months or even years later, they look at this and they're like, why am I still not getting anything out of this? Why am I not able to know what these companies are doing for them? So once they've been burned, they're a little bit more cautious, and you're going to have a little bit more of it's a little more uphill battle, but you'll get them to come on board if you explain to them what makes you different and why whatever happened to them last time happened. And then my last question here is, where do you think things could have been improved? Okay. So do those questions help you? Do you guys understand now, going through those, why we do those questions, why we ask those things, and can you see how that would help improve your opportunities at getting the sale? Tom says yes. Great. Tom says yes. Nobody else says yes, so that means probably the answer is your mind is twisted right now. You're like, what? Okay, there they come in now. Ross is saying yes. Keith is saying yes. Philippe is saying yes. Eric's saying absolutely. Benjamin says suits my personality strengths. Good. Some of you guys are actually going to excel at this a lot more than me. Alfred says yes. Lamar says yes. Okay, good. I know sometimes, and this is just me because I'm the excitement guy, and you could tell yesterday's tone and then today's tone. This is still exciting for me, but this is not as exciting to me as the selling part because I love to sell. This part right here slows me down a little bit, but I still do it because I enjoy learning about my customers, right? And I'm not saying this is boring to me. I still love this part of it because I like talking to my customers. I'm just saying my tone changes because it's really important. Your cadence is going to change. You're not going to sit there and act like a dork in front of them with the ultra excitement, asking, so tell me, what does your customers think of you? Stuff like that. You're gonna have to actually, be professional. Okay, so identifying your prospects' needs. No, Eric, it did not happen yet. We did not get into the proposal. Okay, so now we're talking about the prospect's needs. Okay, so here what you're going to do is you're going to fill out the prospect analysis checklist. Now everybody will have that inside of the download, that little checklist, and what this is going to do, this is allowing you to become a detective. And I know because I know this because I've talked to a lot of people that are just getting into the web services, and they've even done it for a while. Most of them don't even do this stuff. And that's a lot of the reasons why they aren't able to get their customers a good return on their investment, because they don't even know what their customers are doing now. If you don't know what your customers are doing now, then you shouldn't be offering them something, because you could be selling them something that they've already been paying for that's, it's not working. Okay? So go and be a detective. Like, who here is really good at being a net detective? Like if you're trying to find an old friend or something like that, go into Google and searching for them and searching for their age and what they did and all that stuff, trying to find them, right? This is the same type of thing, right? You're going to have to get really good at searching Google to find out more information about this company. Search by their company name, search by their company name and city, search by their phone number, search by their address, search by their website address. Do a search for backlinks. See where those backlinks are. There's a whole bunch of stuff that you can do, and there's no wrong or right way. Find a YouTube video, look and see if there's a channel for it. If that channel is theirs, if they own it, if somebody else owns it. Do they have a Facebook page? You see what I'm saying? Like, it can go real deep. Some of these people, they've done stuff for so long and they don't even know what they're doing. Are people saying negative stuff about them online, and is it hidden? And it's happened to affect their business. Is there, whatever. Is there something like that? Okay. But you want to search online, and you also want to ask these probing questions. You'll find out a lot of times where their opportunity is, and they're totally missing it. And then find out what that can do for their bottom line. Like, for example, the reputation thing. If somebody's got some negative stuff that's being said online about them, and they haven't addressed it, people keep on saying negative stuff about them, well, I guarantee you that's costing them some money. But in some cases, maybe that business is aware of that and they choose not to address it because they don't care about those customers that they're not getting, because they're aware that the customers that usually look for that type of thing are not going to be good customers for them in the first place. Okay? So you just have to find out, and you got to talk to them about it. It's all communication. Does it make sense for them to implement something to fix it? And if so, what is the return on their investment? What is that going to be worth? Okay? So here's a checklist that I have that you guys have been given. Okay? The first thing here is, has the customer been pre-qualified and willing to make the substantial investment? That box should say yes. Check. And if so, what did you talk about? Again, I left that blank on your presentation, on your script, so you know what you're going to be going in at. You should have an idea of the type of investment that you're going to require to help these businesses initially, right? You don't have to do everything all at once, but you should have an idea of what that investment's going to be, and you can offer payment plans and stuff like that. We're going to get into that in the proposal, but you should have an idea, especially if you're doing everything I told you to do, which is stick with the niche or two. You're going to know what works and what they mostly usually need based off of the expertise that you've learned. Your practice makes perfect, and you've done a few of these customers already, and you know what you've seen, right? So you'll know what that initial investment needs to be, and it may change from today into tomorrow. And be prepared in the first few clients to lose a little bit of extra time, right, and not make as much profit as you would have, because you're learning. It will happen. No matter how much I try to prepare you for asking for enough money, you're still going to ask for too little sometimes. But eventually you'll get really good at it, and you'll get that number down, and you'll explain to them very easily why they need to make this investment. And if they're not willing to make that kind of an investment, that's okay. Look, you're not for everyone. Say, if you want the best, you're going to pay for it. If you don't want the best, I can send you, look, there's people who spam my inbox every day with stuff, and they're not good. You want me to send you I can send you their way. Send them your way. Get it? And I'm very clear and upfront with my customers about that stuff, because I want them to know that that's what they're paying for. We're not the cheapest. Hot Prospector is not the cheapest. My systems, my services, we're not the cheapest. Some of my clients have actually come to me and then confronted me on that. And guess what I tell them? You can get the cheapest, but you have me. I'm the best. And it's up to you on what you want to, what do you want to risk your whole company with somebody who's going to save you a few pennies? Okay. All right. So make sure you've got that part checked. Once you said yes, now you're going to go down this line. Do they have a website? Yes or no? If they have one, here's where we're going to put in the notes. Is it what's the website address? Is it professional? Is it easy to navigate? Does it have a website, a mobile website? Go on your phone and look at the mobile website. Does that mobile website, is it easy to navigate? Or is it just some cheesy mobile website, right? Are there clear calls to action on their site above the fold? You know, is there something when you go to the site, like, do you know you're in the right place, and do you know what to do next? Do they have special offers and coupons? Are they trying to collect contact information from that, right? That's down here a little bit. Is there a conversion form? Is their contact information easily found? Is there an incentive for the opt-in? Right, that's that conversion form, but is there some kind of an incentive? If you do this, you get that. Is there social engagement? Can they engage socially with their customers? Is there a blog? If so, when's the last time they've posted? Are there testimonials and reviews? Is video being used on the site? Is Google Analytics installed? You could find a lot of that stuff. Like if you don't know how to find Google Analytics, you could just right-click and look at their, search their source. Right-click, view page source, and then you can search for Google Analytics. Is the site multiple pages? How many pages is their site? Does the content entice the reader to take action? Now, tell me, does this type of a prospect analysis checklist give you a better idea of the things that we've been talking about? Now you see how much goes into it and why it's not $500. And when you're a customer, you come back with like this kind of a thing, and you explain to them. I would have the checklist there when you're presenting, okay, on your screen if you're doing it, over the phone, or in person if you're there with them, and you can go through it. Because it's going to give you, if this is the type of stuff that they would never do by themselves, and the more they see all this, they're like, whoa, okay, I totally misjudged. I guess I do need to spend a little bit more on my website. It's more important than that. Now the next part of that, the analysis checklist goes into your prospecting, right? Or not prospecting, but advertising. Local directories. Okay, are they on Google Plus Local? Which they've changed the name of that again. I can't keep up with you, Google. Google, please stop changing the name of everything. When I'm on my Android and I don't know where to go find applications because you decide to call it Play now, and I can't find my Chromecast, I can't find none of that stuff. Come on, stop changing the names. Anyways, I'm off my soapbox there. Google's not listening to this, but if they were, they wouldn't care. Anyways, do they have a Google Local page? Maps, whatever you want to call it this day. Do they have a Facebook listing? Now, over here on the right, comments, and you see is NAP consistent. Now, NAP stands for name, address, and phone number. That is very important. If those things don't match on all of these different directories, then they're not going to get good exposure because, like, the search engines pick that up. And if your address is different for every single one of these directories, then the search engines aren't smart enough to know that they match up, that they're for the same business. And the more of these local directories that you have, kind of think of these like backlinks, the more local directories that you have that are consistent are going to help the business rank higher. Now, there's services out there that you can actually pay for that offer this, that offer the ease of searching for this and actually ease of updating it. Okay, and we're not going to get into that on this website, or this webinar, but this is important. Going through and looking, finding out if they're on all of these sites, and there's probably more now because this is a couple of years old they're really important. Like I don't see here. Do I have? I have Yelp, but depending on the type of business, there's going to be some of these that are really popular or really important that they need to be on. And another thing too, when I'm doing this, I might actually look in the comments and see who their top competitor is, and if their top competitor is in these searches, and are they not? For example, maybe ABC Roofing has a Google, Facebook, Bing, Yelp, Yahoo, all these different things, and they only have Yellow Pages and Google, right? So that's something I would also bring forth during my proposal, right? That you're missing these things. Next is the SEO analysis. Now, this is why this part's so easy, because you don't have to be an expert to do what we're doing here. Anybody can do this with any search engine knowledge. If you know how to use Google, you can do what I'm telling you here. This is all easy. Anybody can do it, no matter how experienced you are. This is simple. It just takes time, okay? And then once you get all this, you can take this checklist and the stuff that they decided that they want to do, put together a work order, and go to Upwork and find some people to do those things, you know, because you know what they're paying for. And now it's literally just finding the right kind of help, right? So SEO analysis, you're looking for meta tags and descriptions and stuff like that in their source code. Do they have that? If they are, you know, are the keywords good? You know, are they relevant? So yes, and then you put in your comments there. Do they rank on Google? If so, where are they ranked? Do they rank on Bing? Where are they ranked? Do they rank on Yahoo? Where are they ranked? And like I mentioned up here, are the keywords actually relevant? But down here, are you missing keyword opportunities? This is huge. Most businesses don't know their business that well, and they are not searching for the right keywords, or they're not being found in the right keywords. And you can go, Google has tools to help give them ideas of keywords. They're not always right, by the way. Google does make mistakes. They're using an algorithm, and sometimes their algorithms aren't perfect. I see that we have Tony on the line here, and I know Tony's like a Google expert, so he used to work for Google, and I know he probably has something to say about that. But you know, Google's not going to be the end-all be-all there. Okay. Email marketing. Now, again, this is something that's great for my guys that are doing website, or they're selling as a reseller for Hot Prospector. But we always check: do they have an autoresponder set up? Are they doing email campaigns? Do they have text? And I don't have this on this checklist because we weren't doing this back in 2014. We just started doing it like the last year and a half. But you know, you should add that on there. Are they collecting phone numbers, and then do they have a campaign set up to automatically reach out to their customers with SMS and with voicemail and some of the other capabilities that are available? Social. Do they have a YouTube channel? What does it look like? Are they posting comments, or not posting comments, but are they posting videos, and are they commenting to their customers or people that come to their channel and comment on their videos or like their videos? Are they engaging with their Facebook fan page? Do they have a Twitter page? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on Google+? Are they on Instagram? You can actually do these things for them and make a lot of money. Online advertising. Google AdWords. Are they doing that? You know, find out what their budget is, kind of results they're getting. There's actually tools online where you could do that for them. SEO Rush is one of the ones that I used to use. Let's see if it's still here. I'm going to pull it up. SEO Rush. SEM Rush, sorry. SEM Rush. SEM Rush is a really good tool. You could go in here and you could do site audits and all kinds of stuff. I'm sure it's gotten better since it did. Oh, I clicked on the ad. There you go. So you can put in a website here on SEM Rush, and it'll do all these analyses for you. There's tools out here, guys, that make the things that we're doing right now a lot easier. Now, these cost money, so when you're getting started and if you don't have a lot of money, you may not want to invest in this. But when you do start getting paid, you know, you want to start investing, or even, you know, invest in this when you get your first customer. Look, the Guru plan is $149 a month. You can get the Pro plan, which is $69 a month, but it doesn't include historical data, which you're going to want, you know. So take a look at that. You know, again, I'm not an affiliate for them or anything. I'm just saying that might be something that you could use. But looking into Facebook, PPC, retargeting. You know, are they doing any retargeting? For those of you who don't know what retargeting is, that's when somebody goes to your site. Like I just went to SEM Rush. I clicked on their ad. So guess what? I'm going to be getting retargeting ads now for a while from SEM Rush because I just dropped a cookie into their box, into their system. Now, a lot of businesses don't do retargeting, and they should be, because it's very cheap. It's going to cost SEM Rush anything now to market to me again and again and again, even though it was just me showing you guys something, and I'm really not interested in their service, right? But retargeting is something that that most local businesses aren't doing, and it will help them dramatically. Because what happens is somebody goes onto their site and then they leave and they never come back because they went somewhere else. Well, what if they got off their site, went to go check on a competitor's site and didn't make a decision, but then, they got distracted and then they ended up back online later on, and then boom, they see that company again and they have a good call to action that brings them back to their site and gets them to buy or gets them to set up an appointment or whatever it is. Okay, retargeting is very powerful. Interstitial ads, I'm not too big on those myself, but you can also do, display advertising. There's display advertising networks and stuff like that out there. So find out if they're doing those things. If they have an affiliate program, maybe they have people referring them business and traffic. Those are some things to ask. Offline advertising. Now, this is offline meaning direct response. What are they doing off their website? Are they doing newspapers? Are they doing flyers, magazines, print, billboards, telemarketing, text messaging, voicemail marketing, email marketing, trade shows, events, all that. Find out what they're doing. Now, this stuff you can find a little bit online, but you're going to probably have to, get some of that detail from them. Okay. Okay, so that's the checklist. Does everybody get the checklist now? Do you see why that's so powerful and how that can help you really take your customer down the path of finding out what they specifically need? Like, rather than just going in and pitching something, coming in as a full-on marketing agency, you're going to be able to get a much better client. You're going to be able to be a much better agency for them. Yes? A lot of people saying yes. Okay, good. I just want to make sure that, you guys are getting the right kind of value out of this. And I'm not seeing a lot of questions, so that means that we're either doing a really good job and answering most of the questions, or you guys are watching Young and the Restless or whatever is on right now. I don't even know if Young and the Restless is even on. Okay, so let's move on to the proposal. Okay? Not a lot of questions to ask about this. Well, that's cool, Ross. I appreciate that. More questions might come when we try to implement. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so let's dig into the proposal. So the proposal gives you an opportunity to introduce your company. Okay? This is going to let them know who you are and what you're about. And then you're going to have an opportunity to readdress or to address their goals and their needs. And sometimes you're going to, really this proposal gives you an opportunity to open their eyes to a lot of stuff. And if you do this properly, when you address this, or you go over this proposal with them, this is what's going to seal the deal, because they didn't recognize a lot of this stuff, and you're going to help them just so much. Look, the way to sell is to provide so much value that they feel obligated, or not to you, but obligated to themselves and to the business to make the decision, okay, to say yes. And if you do a really good job in the things that I'm talking about right now, you don't have to be a good salesperson. This is actually being a good salesperson. Let me rephrase that. You don't have to be a slimy, pushy salesperson to get the sale. Do you see why this gets the sale now? Because when you take the time to do these things and nobody else is doing, you're a professional and you're actually helping them. Okay? So yeah, you go over those goals and those needs, and you readdress them and you rephrase them, and you help them come up with a more well-defined path. And hey, if you do a good job of putting this proposal together right based off the template, and again, I'm giving you a template. It means you can reword it yourself. But you put together a plan based off this proposal, well-explained proposal, okay, they will not want to throw that away, because it could almost be like a little mini business plan, marketing plan for them, okay? So you're gonna stay on the top of their radar, even if they couldn't afford you right now. You do a good job of putting together a proposal like this for them, it's not going to be forgotten. I've had customers call me back 6 months later. I've had people call me back over a year later. Matter of fact, I just had another customer who's chasing me down right now, just joined, just friended me on Facebook. I won't work with them anymore. Not because I don't like him. I like him. He's a nice guy. But I'm out of that business, right? So that just goes to show what you do will stick with them, okay? And then solutions based on those prospect analysis, the prospect analysis that you have. That's what this proposal is. So there's three parts: introduction of your company, their goals and needs, and then the solutions that you're going to provide for them based off of the checklist. Now, a proposal is not just a here's what it costs. That's an invoice. Okay? There's a big difference between a proposal and an invoice. I send mostly invoices. I don't send that many proposals. If I send a proposal, that's because I'm looking for a long-term commitment, a long-term deal with them. Workflow, this part of the proposal is where you're going to go into, what's the scope of the job, the details on the launch, how you're going to do things, what's the scheduling on that. There's a schedule for fees, there's a summary of fees, and then there's a schedule for fees. So when you're doing a big project like this, it's customary for you to say, okay, look, it's going to cost you $15,000. Today you're going to pay this initial fee, which is $2,500, and then tomorrow, when we do this, we'll show it to you. If you're happy with it, then you pay this, so on and so forth. Okay? When you do a bigger job, which is what we're trying to go after here, right? Is we're going after the bigger jobs. Those are the things that you're going to be doing in a proposal. Okay? So you can, put that into writing and then explain to them, hey, it's going to cost you $15,000, but it's not going to happen today all at once. You're going to pay me in chunks. Oh, and very important is time to completion. Don't underestimate that. It's very important that you stick to your schedule. If you tell somebody it's going to take a week for them to have their mock-up, or for them to get some kind of an idea of what the design is going to look like, well, then you better have it done in a week. And if you're not sure you can, it's much better for you to say it's going to take 2 weeks and you get it done in 8 days, right, than it is to say you're going to have it done in a week and get it done in 8 days. Because if I want something, if you tell me I'm going to have something on Friday, guess what? I'm excited because I just gave you money, I just hired you, and you sold me on how come I need to do this. And I'm excited to see what I'm getting ready to have for my business, because as a business owner, as entrepreneurs, we get excited about this stuff. Like this is like like our baby. For me, like I'm completely stoked right now. I can't wait for our website to be done. So, if my guy told me that he was going to have it done in 7 days and it took him 12, those 5 extra days, I'm going to be all over him. Okay, so make sure you get your timelines set. And I know in the beginning it's going to be difficult for you to know, so you're going to have to, over promise and under deliver, meaning it's, other way around. Under deliver. You get what I'm saying. You're going to have to make sure to over deliver and under promise. Okay? Terms and conditions. This is the part where you're telling them, like, this is how, things are going to work, and we'll get into all that a little bit more. But the terms and conditions of your contract, so to speak, what happens if they don't pay, all that good stuff. And then the next steps, what to do next if they decide to hire you, okay? Now, the presentation, we use a tool called join.me. I know back then when I started doing this, that was like the thing. There are a lot of other tools out there that you can get now, so just look online for screen sharing tools. If you want, use JoinMe. Some people say that it's kind of slow, or you got to download files, whatever. It still works for me, but that's because I have the pro version, and that's just the way I am, right? I stick with something once it works, and that's it. Send a website grade report, and I wouldn't just do like a website grade report as a prospecting tool. I would do an official, powerful. I would go to a company, because yeah, we do have website grade reports inside a Hot Prospector, but that is not a professional website grade report. That is a prospecting tool. Big difference from a prospecting tool and something like SEMrush. Jolynn, showing you how to use join.me is better to go to join.me and just look at their instructions. It's like 2 steps. Just go to join.me, the website, and it's simple. Look, I'll go there. Join.me. There you go, see? I mean, it's simple. They got, now mine's going to automatically log in, of course, because I already have a pro account. But in order for me to start a meeting, I just click this button and then it downloads something to my desktop, and then it opens up, and then I get a code, and I give the code to the person who I'm seeing. But join.me is easy to use. Just go check it out. But yeah, so back to the website grade report. If I were you, I would use something like SEMrush or one of those other tools to provide a good report, something thorough. Let's see here. Go through all the things that you've outlined in the presentation, and then if you have examples of stuff that you've done in the past, show them. So that's like that's the process of the presentation. Now, usually, like I said, the way I do it is I jump on to join.me, right? I welcome on board. I don't send them the proposal before the meeting. They don't get the proposal emailed to them because I don't want them to have sticker shock before we talk. I want to go over the proposal and then send it to them, okay? So I got them online, then I'm going to show them the website grade report, and then I'm going to send them the report if there's like a PDF version so they have it. Then I'm going to go through my proposal, and then I'm going to send them the proposal, right, with a way for them to take action. But basically what I'm getting at here is if most people, they do this the wrong way. They send them all this stuff, and then when they don't answer the phone because they just got sticker shock, they don't understand. They're like, what happened? Like, why is that person not responding to me? I spent all this time on a proposal, and I got this website grade report, and all this stuff, and I want to show them what we can do, and then now they're not responding to me. They became a track star, like we say. They run it. That's because you thought that you would be able to send your proposal and that was going to do the selling for you. Proposals don't sell for you. You've got to ease them into it, okay? So you bring them on, and you go through the things that you found and show them why you're doing certain things on the proposal. So like, look, I was doing my research on your site and I found this, and by the way, I was on Google and I identified that. Spend some time going through that with them. Plan to spend 30 minutes going through that proposal. And then at the end, you hit them with the price. And then, they may not say right then and there, here's my credit card, or let's do this. They may say they need to think about it, and you go through your presentation, or, your objections and everything that we talked about yesterday to identify what the real problem is and try to go for the sale. But that's how you do the presentation. Does this make sense? Does everybody understand why we do it that way now? Then can you see how you would lose a lot of sales if you just sent over the presentation? Yeah. Or not the presentation, but the proposal. You lose most of your sales that way. If you just thought your job was just to say, hey, can I send you a proposal, and then hope they're going to sign because they saw your proposal, you're wrong. That's not going to happen. That's not how you sell this. You've got to spend some time educating them. And hey, this is all part of the value that you're providing. And now you see why I said you only need 10 presentations a week. Because if you do 10 of these, you should be closing at least 25% of them. If you did a good job of qualifying, you should have really closer to 50% or more. Yeah, Benjamin says they get to share it with competitors. True. Sometimes people will do that, by the way. They're just going to get your quote so that way they can take it to their competitor, your competitor, and get them to drop the price. So that's another reason why I don't just share freely presentations and quotes and stuff like that. And by the way, also send your stuff as a PDF. If you have the pro version of Adobe, turn your notepad or your Word documents into PDF. It's very simple to convert them, and there may even be online converters for Word to PDF if you don't have them. But don't send them something that they can edit, because if you send them a Word document, they could tweak it. And some people are, shady like that. They'll change something, and then you signed off on it, and then you're like, well, I don't remember changing that. Just lock your deal up, lock your contracts, lock your stuff into a PDF. Yeah, somebody said PDF my URL. It works great. It's free. There you go. Okay. Actually, let's see. Jolene says, Maybe that's why I haven't been able to close anything. It's true. Simple like that. It's something very simple that you probably thought that you know, people would see the proposal and say, wow, this is professional, this looks good, this person is not the cheapest, but yeah, let me just call them up and sign up. That's not the way it works, you know. And also too, there's sometimes things that we do that they may not want. And like, for example, one of my clients, I called him up, and my proposal was close to 20 grand. And he already knew, because he'd worked with me before. He actually was somebody I did a website before, and I only charged him 3 grand. And when I came back around, and he was paying $750 a month, and I came back around this time, and I said it's $20,000. And a good chunk of that was, you know, was mobile, or was ongoing SEO services still. But he was just like shocked. And I'd spent some time explaining to him why, you know, we were doing it this way, and you know, last time how we put together a website for him, but it was nothing like what we were doing this time. You know, we were hiring a professional design team, and we were bringing in professional copy and those things. You know, it costs money, and having the opportunity to explain it to him on the screen, step by step, made it so much easier. And never fall for the, you know what, just send it to me, I'll take a look at it when I have time. Never. To say, you know what, I have to go over it with you on my computer. I have to, because there's questions that you're going to have, and I need to make sure I answer them. If you don't do it that way, then you're going to lose. You're never going to get the. I'd rather not do the presentation than just send the presentation or the proposal. Really, you're not get. This presentation is your deal. You know, and if you're just sending them a proposal without doing the presentation, you've lost your opportunity, because most of the time, if that's the only way that they're going to do it, is if they're not going to do it, then they're just using you. Most of the time, they're just using you. So don't be used. Okay, you spent time going and investigating and putting something together, and it's not something that takes 5 minutes. It's going to take you an hour probably to prepare for this presentation. So spend the time, and then make sure that you're going to get the opportunity to present it. Okay, the quicker you'll get better as time goes on. You know, it may not take you an hour forever, and that's another reason why I say stick with a niche, because you won't have to make so many modifications to your presentation, to your proposal. You can just now kind of mess around with the numbers based off of what you find. Okay, the offer. Remember, now's your chance. You're going through the proposal, and as you're explaining what it's going to cost, you have the opportunity to use the proposal as a sales tool, because that's what it is. So you get to remind them of their goals. You know, when we talked originally, you said that this was important to you, and this is what you wanted to see, right? And I actually, when I went out looking to figure out what we were going to do for you, those are the things that came to my mind. So this is why I put this together for you this way, you know. And then, you know, I want you to know, let me explain how this is going to help you. You know, that's where you get to explain the benefits. And not talk about how we're going to rank you on the first page of Google, because that doesn't matter. Ranking on the first page of Google is not a benefit. Ranking on the first page of Google is a feature. The results that they get for being on the first page of Google is the benefit, right? Exploit the ROI. Do not just let that return on investment go without being said. You know, it's okay to have a projection based off of experience, or even some kind of a you know, promise that I'm going to work extra hard to hit this number. You know, there's no guarantees, because that's just how life is, but understand my satisfaction guarantee is going to come into play. You'll be able to contact me any time of the day, you know, within reason, whenever I'm not hitting those goals. And most of the customers that I work with, they get those goals and, you know, those ROI projections and beyond. Focus on results. Okay, that's your offer. Remember, this is a sales tool. This proposal is a sales tool. Okay. The close. Okay. Now here's where you get to bring up the last page of the proposal. You haven't talked about numbers yet. You're going to bring up that last page of the proposal, and you're going to, you know, mention the cost. Okay. Now this, give them a 20% discount if they sign today. That is not something you just say, hey, and I'm going to give you a 20% discount. No. You first identify specifically what, if they just, if they see the proposal, they're like, let me think about it. Don't offer them a 20% discount. That's not when if that's given. Okay? You use that as a tool when they are making it like they want to give it some time to think about. Okay? 20% is a lot. So when I'm using that 20% discount, it's after I've covered their objections, and then they still want to think about it. Well, let me just think about it. Okay, you know what? Let me do this because I don't normally do this, but I want to make this a no-brainer for you. I want to make sure, because I know for sure, Mr. Customer, that I can help you. I've worked with a lot of businesses like yours, and I've seen the successes that they've gotten, and I know what it's been able to do for them. And look, based off of the goals that you have and where we're going to get you, you're just going to be another, notch in my belt. I'm going to take good care of you. So what I want to do is I want to make this a no-brainer. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to give you a 20% discount, but you got to do it right now. All right? Like I said, your first payment's due today, and then, we'll go on to the next payment schedule. So what do you want to do? Check? We can do the check, Visa, MasterCard, whatever you want to do. That's the assume the close. Assuming the close after you've given them some kind of a deal like this, because you don't just say, what do you think? Do you want to do it? That's not assuming the close. Assuming the close is, here's the deal, let's do this. Okay? You can offer the payment plan if you require it, or again, if you have a contract or a proposal set up with timeline payments. That's your payment plan. Okay? All right, guys. So I thought that this webinar was going to be a little bit shorter than it was, but it was, it was actually pretty decent. We had a lot of content to cover. So, wow, assume the close. I need to hear that again, Jolynn says. Well, yeah, assuming the close, it's simple. Whenever you offer anything or when you handle an objection, and we talked about this yesterday in yesterday's training, is if you handle an objection, the next thing out of your mouth should be, so, would you like to use a Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or would you prefer, would you prefer what email would you like me to send your mock-up to, or what's your billing address? Those are questions that you can ask to assume the close. Naga says, I've seen that assume the close in action. Yeah, Naga, Naga's been on the phone with me and signed up with my services. Anybody that's ever been on the phone with me, then what assuming the close, and it works. That's how you always get started. Because a lot of times people are at that point already, and they, they know that they need it. They just don't know how to get started. And that's what assuming the close does. It gives them the opportunity to move them to the next position. Sometimes people, it's funny, I've been on the call, and I've listened to calls, and I've heard a salesperson who's not listening properly to the sale, and I'll hear the customer say, wow, okay, yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah, I'm liking this. Oh wow, yeah, I can't wait to get started. I mean, to the point to where, if this was a girl and a boy relationship, right? Maybe you met at a function or something, and you're sitting there talking, and you're getting to know each other, and the boy is trying to get the courage up to ask the girl on a date. He's afraid to ask, and the girl, she's just she's literally saying, yeah, you're such a nice guy, and I don't meet guys like you very often, and she tells him, compliments him on his physique, or just stuff like that. As a guy that's so clueless to not understand that the girl is actually almost asking him to ask her, right? It's the same thing. It's funny. I see that in sales all the time. I see the customer literally throwing themselves at the salesperson, and the salesperson's so dense that they don't realize all they have to do is ask, and they're going to get the business. Okay, so that's assuming the sale. It's just saying, look, would you like to take, would you like to take action? Let's go ahead and get this going. Okay. Josh asked, is there a recording webinar, Learn How to Use the Tool? You know, Josh, there is actually a knowledge base inside of Hot Prospector that goes through step by step all those little details. You know, you can go through all of those little things on how to do this and how to do that. What I covered in the first webinar, or the first session, what I really want you guys to focus on, you know, which is usually most of the people get the most success off the voicemails. Emails are good too. You can use text messages. What I would do is focus on just getting some kind of simple action. Don't try to learn how to use the entire tool overnight. You're not going to learn how to set up autoresponders and come up with a campaign for 10 months for, you know, lead nurturing and, you know, all that stuff overnight. Don't expect that. Just grab one thing, start with it, and, you know, move forward. And then as you use the tool and as you mature with the tool, month in and month out, you're going to get better and you're going to get more competent at it. I want everyone in here to be like just amazing with this tool. I want it to get you tons of business, and it's going to help you. You know, you'll grow into it. So grow into it. It's a very powerful system, and it's going to give you everything that you need. And it will give you everything you need. You don't need to go and sign up for you know, a lead management system like Pipeline or something. You don't need that. You don't need like a real CRM unless you're a big company. You don't need a constant contact. You don't need a text marketing tool or power dialing system or any of those things, because it's all in here. Okay. So before you go out and start buying anything that has to do with prospecting or running your sales or anything like that, look inside of Hot Prospector because it's probably there. Let's see here. A couple questions that came up. I'll listen to yesterday's presentation later, but I'm interested in your thoughts about when, with whom to use email marketing, SMS, voice drops, assuming they have appropriate business data for each. Presumably, I want to get them into an email funnel as well as an initial offering and sale. Well, you know what I mean. So I would obviously go in and offer that tool or that service to any business, because every business has a database. They do. Some of them just don't have a really good. Some of them just haven't done a really good job of putting it, you know, of maintaining it properly. Maybe they have it, depending on the size of the company, maybe they have it in, you know, their POS, their point of sale system. Sometimes they'll have it on, you know, cards that they have people fill out, whatever. There's just all kinds of areas where they could have this stuff. So personally, myself, I'm going to always offer that opportunity. There's ways that you can get their lists together if they don't have one. And if they do have one, well, then, you know, obviously they need this service. And also offering them some kind of a way to gather more leads from the people who come into their store, or from people that, you know, go on their website, or even call them. You know, Hot Prospector gives the ability to capture information from people who call in. We can automatically store their name and number in the system. So they help them build a list that way. Dave, how we handle the proposal is a critical element. Could you provide us with a video or audio recording of a client proposal interaction, including addressing objection? You know, Dave, I'd love to do that. And, you know, again, value. I hope you got enough value out of your initial investment. I do have those types of things that, you know, we could probably do on a much a higher schedule of fees, I guess, the best way to say it. I remember, like I said, I don't actually sell SEO services anymore. So this is just coming from my experience in sales and presentations and, you know, what I used to do. Now I moved into only direct response marketing. So unfortunately, you're probably going to have to either go and look for some other help on YouTube for that or somewhere else. I would be open to working on a consulting basis with you if that's something you're looking for as well. Just let me know. I will say that I'm not cheap, and I will, you guys know that being on this webinar, I'm not cheap because I like to be the best and not the cheapest. I only work with people who can get value out of what I do, okay? So either way, there's definitely some room out there and help for you. Rain, I just joined. How do we get the replays and other material? Rain, if you just joined, there are those materials should be sent to you via email when you first sign up. And then as far as the replays, I'm going to be sending out the final replay link for everyone for all 3 replays tonight or tomorrow morning, one of the 2. But I'll have all 3 of the webinars in there so you can go back and watch them. They'll be on Wistia, and that's something you can just access anytime. I'll leave the comments on so you guys can comment and help each other in the comments. But if I start seeing any kind of negativity or anything, I'll delete your comment. I don't like negativity. I like people to be positive. So if you want to help each other, that's great. If you want to complain, that's not the forum for that. Okay. But anyway, that'll go out tonight. And then if you're missing any material, like for example, somebody mentioned they didn't get their credits. This is Josh. Follow-up question: how does my $100 get credited in my account? You just have to address. I mentioned this yesterday, and if you weren't here yesterday, you probably didn't see this. But just open a ticket with support. If you're logged into Hot Prospector, there's a little support desk down at the bottom right-hand side, and there is a. You can just open it up and just send in your receipt from your $100 payment. So just send in your receipt, and then we'll apply the credits. This was a special deal that we offered, so normally we would just bring people in through our shopping cart on our website, and then credits and all that would be assigned. But because we did something special for you guys for Christmas, it was a little bit it's just a little bit different. So bear with us. We're giving you guys all those credits. You just got to let us know if you didn't get them. Let's see here. My payment went through today on my side. Who should I speak to about setting up your account? Yeah, support. Support is easily found on hotprospector.com. If you're not logged in or cannot log in, then you can do that through support at hotprospector.com. And by the way, you do not need to copy me on emails to support. I said yesterday you guys don't have to contact me, and please don't, about support-related things, because I've got other things I'm doing, and that's why I hired these people and pay them what I pay them to take care of you. As much as I love every one of you and I'd love to talk to you, I don't have time. I really don't. I can't. Okay? So you don't have to copy me on support emails. They're going to take care of you either way, and you don't have to address any of those things with anybody but support. So support at hotprospector.com is the email. Okay? Let's see here. Are there more webinars? And please post with the access. Catherine, we will. Actually, you know what? That's a good idea. I'll drop the link here to the kit. Not the kit, but the Wistia link here. Hold on one second. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to do something here that's not working. Give me 1 second. I'm going to share the link. There we go. Copy. There you go. So if you guys go to this link that I'm dropping in here right now, and I'd say it publicly, but it's a long link, so only people who are live on the webinar will see this, and everybody else who's watching this recording will probably already have access to this link because you're watching this recording. But there you go. That's the link. If you click on that, that'll show you the last 2 webinars, and this third one will be in there today. Eric, are you selling website care plans? I was late. How do you handle that? If so. I don't know what a website care plan is. So if you could just identify a little bit more about what that question is, or just clarify a little bit more. I don't sell anything with regards to web services anymore, but I do know places where you can go and get it. My suggestion to everyone, if you don't have someone to do your websites, is just go to Upwork.com. Sign up for a free account and start looking for your team. Start building your team. That's how I built mine. You're going to hire people that are going to suck, and you're going to hire people that are great. That's just how it is. That's business. Grow your business, and don't be afraid of it. Okay? Let's see here. Belinda, what's the 197 special? There is no, look, you guys have what you need right now, okay? You've got to use these credits. The deal is you've got to use the system. If you're not using the system, if you remember watching my webinar, the catch with this is if you're not using the system, then you can lose your account. If you want to upgrade and pay for the account so you don't have to worry about using it every month without losing it, then contact me. We'll get you set up with a monthly or an annual plan. Our deal right now is $497 a year, okay? And that will give you your account. You don't have to worry about this pressure from me to use your system. But I want you guys to use the system. That's the goal, okay? Use the system. Buy it, buy your credits and consume them, not sit on them, okay? Lamar, I appreciate the training and transparency. Thanks. You're welcome. Alfred, so what happens when we have used up our credits? When you use up your credits, you've got to buy more. Use them, and then buy more and use them. They're inside of the system. There's a link inside up at the top right-hand corner of your system that it's actually, it looks like a little credit card, and then they'll show your credits. If you click on that, you can put in your credit card to buy more, and you just pay for credits there. Okay. Catherine, what do you focus on software as a service? I do. I focus on software as a service. We have this, we built this tool, and we built it so marketing agencies like yourself can resell this tool as their own. We have a reseller program which allows you to brand Hot Prospector on your marketing agency's name, put it on your domain, put it, change it to your color schemes and all that, and then you can go and offer these services to other customers, to other businesses. Okay? So that is the suggestion that I have for people that are offering, that are looking to offer the email services and the SMS services and the voicemail services. If you want to do that, you should get your own white label account. If you want to get a white label account, you can contact me at mark@hotprospector.com and I'll get you set up. There is a fee for that, obviously. It's not cheap because we offer the best tool around, but that is a tool that if you offer, to businesses, it's really easy to fulfill. Let's see here, Tom. And when do you find a great person at Upworks? Hire them. Yes, when you find a good person, hire them. And I also, just a tip for hiring people at Upworks, my experience has been it's better to hire multiple people and then fire the ones you don't need. Right? End the contracts with the ones you don't need. Tell them you're going to hire them for a test project. Belinda, I'm not sure specifically what you see, but if you see that, then go for it. I can't tell you anything but that. I don't know if that's where that's active, if it is, but if you're seeing it, then go for it. But that's all I can tell you. Dave, I don't know. Let me see if I can find a link in here. Let me see. So Dave asked me to drop a link for the 497 plan. Let me drop a link. Hold on. Cannot type. Okay, so I'm going to drop a link in here for the 497 plan, and sorry. And then for those of you that want to get into that, you can. It's that's the annual deal. So if you guys sign up for this, then your account is solid. You won't have to pay. And by the way, we have, if you look online, you'll see we sell this for $2,000 a year, and we have plenty of businesses that signed up for that at that rate because the system, like it's cheaper than most of the systems out there that even do this. So at $497 a year, you're getting a great deal. But yeah, if you sign up on that, Dave, then your account is solid. You don't have to worry about if you don't use credits this week or that week, everything will stay okay. Okay. Catherine, how much is the reseller account? Well, we're running a special right now. I'd rather not say, but it's affordable. I'll say that. So if you want to contact me at mark@hotprospector.com, and please, if you're contacting me about this stuff, understand I'm going to just reply back and ask you for your phone number if you don't ask for it, or I mean if you don't send it, so I can call you. So just send me your name and your phone number and let me know that you're interested in the reseller program so I can call you and we'll talk about it. Like I said, our normal deal, we are running a special to the end of the year, which will give you an opportunity to get in and at a very affordable rate. For what you're getting, look, there's nothing out here. If you're interested in the reseller program, I'll tell you this, wholeheartedly, there is not one system on the planet that does what Hot Prospector does that allows you to white label. Not at all. Matter of fact, we're actually there's a company right now trying to purchase us for that exact matter, exact same thing. They've been contacting me now for the past over a month, trying to figure out what my number is. They can't hit it. But the reason why is we spent a lot of time finding out what the needs were for these marketing agencies. And we put together the tools that we think is going to be better than all the other tools that were out there at a price that would be affordable for them. Naga, don't worry, I'm not. I'm not. My goal is, we've got some new stuff. By the way, I don't know if you guys seen this in your systems yet, but we just dropped integration for Zapier today. Now, I don't know if it's 100% yet. I think my team prematurely put the link in there for you guys to do it. So don't contact support if that's not working yet, because we're finishing it up. But the Zapier integration is literally right around the corner. So for those of you that have Zapier, that are using Zapier for different things, you're going to love that. Yeah, Naga says, this is unlike you announcing it before live. We didn't do it on purpose. My team added it in there last night, and then Jasmine was asking me, she's like, hey, we have Zapier integration? And I'm like, yeah, we've been working on it, but I'm surprised they put that in there already, because, I know they're working on it. So I'll test it and see how it's working, but I don't think it's ready yet, because I wasn't given a final, like, hey, it's ready type thing. But it's cool to know that that's coming around the corner. So our tool, like I said, it's getting more and more mature, and the longer, the more mature it gets, the better it's going to be for your customers, and the better it's going to be for you, because you're going to be able to do a lot more stuff with it. We integrate with GoToWebinar, we integrate with Facebook lead ads, with integration of the Zapier, we're now integrated with Salesforce and all these other big companies. So, that helps drastically. That helps drastically for you to be able to provide these marketing services to customers. Dave says, can you explain how our clients will be able to benefit from Zapier? Well, yeah, like if you go to Zapier.com, matter of fact, let me show you. This part of the webinar, guys, for those of you that have other things to do, and if you're busy, you don't have to sit here and listen to this if you don't really care. I'm just kind of shooting the breeze a little bit because I've blocked out over 2 hours for this webinar. So if anybody wants to listen, that's great. If not, you can go. Zapier. So here is Zapier, and then when you sign up for an account, I think, let me see here, I got an account. Okay, so once you integrate, or once you go into Zapier, you can create a Zap, and basically what a Zap is, you can take apps and get them to work together. So like Gmail can work with GoToWebinar and stuff like that, right? So let's see here if I can. It's been a while since I've created one. Let's do Gmail. So every time that you get a new email matching a specific search, we'll just do every time you get a new email, connect a new account. Let's see here. So every time I get a new email, really shouldn't be doing this on a test thing like this, but basically what happens is I can have it set up different applications to do different things. Like if you use Google Sheets, somebody gets added to Google Sheets, they'll automatically get added to Hot Prospector. Or if somebody, we're already integrated with GoToWebinar, but if you have a webinar and you integrate with GoToWebinar, somebody gets added to GoToWebinar, they get added to your Hot Prospector. Salesforce can integrate with Hot Prospector. All these different apps, and there's actually let's see here. I'm going to look at look at all these different apps. You've got Google Sheets, Gmail, Trello, Google Calendar, Slack, Twitter, Facebook, Asana. I mean, all these different programs available that you can integrate with. So the question is not really how we can help. It's, if there's people that are using these applications, well, we could definitely integrate with them and help them with automating their contact. Okay, I mean, look at all these apps. I mean, I'm seriously, it's crazy. I wonder if Hot Prospector's in here yet. No, see, we're not even in here yet. But when we are in here, that'll be one of the ones that you can integrate with. Okay? So anyway, Zapier is cool. You're just going to have to play around with it. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't really messed around with Zapier too much. We just got a lot of people begging for it, so we're integrating it. Dave says, what are the tangible benefits? Well, like I said, the tangible benefits are if somebody has an application that they're using, like Salesforce, we can integrate to Salesforce and now automatically make contact using the ringless voicemails, the text messaging, and the emails to their customers. Okay? Thomas says integrate means transferring data or open data from one app to another. Exactly. So basically what happens is somebody has their data in one application, in one thing like Salesforce, and when we integrate, we will now talk to that application, and the information in that other application will be dumped into Hot Prospector so we can automate their prospecting campaigns and sequences. Okay? Merry Christmas, David. Alfred says, you mentioned yesterday that Gmail was no longer usable for mass emails. Can you direct us to information on that from Google? Actually, Google, you have to search for it, but Google's made that something available to the ISPs because you probably, if you were signed up with anything like Constant Contact or AWeber or anything like that, they notified you like via email. They sent it out to everyone. So, I'm sure you'll be able to find it somewhere if you go looking for it, if it's important for you to see it. I mean, I'm telling you from my own personal knowledge that it's been like this for months now. So if you're sending out spam emails or bulk emails from another domain under your Gmail, you're not going to get delivered, at least with Gmail. And from what I've heard from my friends that are more connected, in that side of the business, that Yahoo and all the other like Hotmail and free email providers are going to follow suit. So that means maybe Hotmail hasn't done it yet, but it's going to happen. And anybody in here that's still using their Gmail account for Like when I say Gmail, I'm not talking about a Google Apps account, right? Tony says a paid Google G Suite account is exempt. Exactly. Like, you got to use your own domain. You shouldn't be using a Gmail account for your marketing business. Come on. A marketing company who sells websites and stuff like that, and marketing services, doesn't have a domain? Shame on you. Really? Get your stuff together. I mean, come on. I talked to everybody about this yesterday. Right, or AOL. Oh my gosh, who is still using America Online as their business email? Come on. If you can't do something as simple as set up a domain, don't sell it. And that's actually one of the things what we do is, our resellers, they get their own domain and their own website from us. We give them everything. They have their email, everything. So you don't have to worry about that with us. Gmail.com is the only email provider that doesn't get mail list in cyberspace. That is why many use gmail.com. Lost in cyberspace. Yeah, but again, Belinda, if you're selling marketing services, you can use Gmail if you love Gmail, because actually I use Gmail through Google Apps. So I log into my Gmail account, which is, mark@hotprospector.com through Gmail, because I like Gmail. They have the best email service available, in my opinion. I'm sure many other people feel the same way. But do not use a gmail.com or a hotmail.com or an outlook.com or an AOL.com or any of the other free email services as your email for marketing. And I'm glad that Google did this, because it's ridiculous. You can't identify somebody's your friend or if they're selling you something when they're sending you from a personal email. Now, back in the day, you might have heard me say something a little bit different, because actually was getting really good results early on selling services using my Gmail account, because people liked the fact that I was a consultant. And I don't know, maybe it was just, because everything was new. But now it's not. Things have been around for a long time, and time runs quickly. Another trainer is teaching some people to use your business name at gmail.com. Don't listen to that trainer, Jolynn. Whoever they are, just unsubscribe, because they're behind the times. I mean, look, you could make money going to businesses and setting them up with Google Apps. Go sign up as an affiliate with Google Apps. You could charge them to set up their domain, because there's a lot of businesses out there that still use Hotmail. Let me show you guys. Okay, so here's a free way to make some money. And another tip from me from Mark Helton. All right, ready? For those of you that stuck around, you got me off on a tangent here. Let's see. Hot Lead Finder is not pulling up because, oh, there we go. Okay, so when you pull up, if you go to directory 1 here, right, and you look for, let's say, contractors, because contractors are really big. They do this all the time. They're easy to contact about this. So roofer, Las Vegas, and I'm just going to hit search. Now, watch this. Over here, under the website, or sorry, under the email, you're going to see, look at that, Tri-State Flooding Inc. at gmail.com. Very first one that pops up. Chuck at Mac Roofing Services, he's good. PRS Roof is good. Okay, basically what I'm looking for is guys like this. I'm looking to see, do they even have their email set up? You can contact these people and offer to set their service or set their email up for them. There's another one, Sean Dodge Foam at earthlink.com. Now, what I do like about these emails, if I'm prospecting, is that I know that Sean is probably the owner of Dodge Foam, right? That's kind of cool. But look, here's another one. Oh, that's the same one, Tri-State Flood Inc. But go to these and use this as an opportunity. Help out. Dallas Bellinger at AOL.com. These are companies that don't know how easy it is to get their domain set up through their company in the email, and they probably don't look at it like it's a big deal, but it's huge, you know? So go in and offer to do it for free. It's a great foot in the door. You know, say, hey, I'd like to, I noticed that you guys are using a Gmail account to, you know, for people to contact you on your website. You can actually go to their website and check as well. You know, look on their website and see what their emails are. So if I click on parse websites here, see, it's now what this does on your system is it'll go to their website and it'll look for another website, a phone number on their website, and another email on their website. But look at this. So this particular case, this company is using that on their website as well. That's not professional. So if you go to them and say, yeah, let's set you up with a free, I'll help you set up your email account for free. I'm not going to charge you anything. And it's not hard to do. You can go and set up a Gmail account literally in minutes. You know, like, after you get good at it, you can have a new Gmail account set up in like 20, 30 minutes. And now they can actually put all their employees on, you know, Google Apps for business instead of using their own domain. But that'll get you in this. That'll definitely get you in as a foot in the door for sure. Thomas, extend concept to no email address, no website, even sometimes no Facebook, etc. Yeah. But anyways, just a free little tool. That got us off into a tangent. I wasn't meaning to go off onto that, but you know, I just want to say, somebody in here is selling web services and you don't have your own at your domain email, that should be your first thing that you do. That should be the first thing that you fix. I mean, go get a domain. You don't even have to have a website to put a domain and an email. And you don't even have to be good at Google Apps. You can use the email usually comes with the hosting provider. So you'll have an email account in like 5 minutes. Just pay $10. But I do suggest you get a website right away. And if you don't have a website, I told you where to get one. Go to Upwork. You can get one for a couple $100. You might even be able to find somebody who will put a website up for you on Fiverr. Like, I'll betcha. Matter of fact, let's look. Because Fiverr has, like, people do some silly stuff on Fiverr for $5. Let's see, website. Huh. Website design. I will create professional WordPress designs. Look, $30. You see? Like, for those of you that don't have a website and you're like, oh, I got to come up with all this, look, go to Fiverr. There's no excuse for you to not be professional. Fiverr can help you with a lot of this stuff for $5. Some of them aren't, $250, $110, you know, but find something. Belinda says, I don't see your screen. That stinks. I don't know what happened there. Alfred says, she's right. That's why I asked the question about the Gmail addresses. And I Am Guru just suggested using Gmail addresses for sending bulk email just a day or two. Alfred, put that name of that person in there. I'm not going to call them out, but I'm just curious who's telling them that, because I will never recommend that person. Seriously. Just share it. I'm not going to tell anybody, but I'm just curious who this person is, because that's a big, I mean, they should know better than that, because it was advertised all over the place months ago. Like, everybody should know that. Can I use Google Apps with a desktop? Yes, you can use Google Apps with a desktop. You mean, like, can you plug it in? Can you put it into your Outlook or your email, like check email through Outlook and through your phone? Absolutely. It works just like Gmail. Oh, really? That is scary, because I know that person, and I'm very, 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 that is very scary, Alfred. Wow. Okay, well, no, don't do that. Do not do that. What they're saying, do not do that. So, anyhow, Just curious, Alfred, what do you think of the differences between the system that you're using, Hot Prospector, and that system? Okay, guys, any other questions? If not, I'm not going to keep everybody here forever. I know we lost a big chunk of everybody. So if we're not really being productive, I do have actually a meeting in 15 minutes. So just give me your last final questions. If there are anything I can help you with, I will. And if not, then dig in, start making some money. Dave says, rather than a new Gmail account, wouldn't the biz owner prefer to have their current biz Gmail account used as the Google Apps account, i.e. for continuity of their email? Not sure what you mean, but like Gmail has no business in their name of their email, so it should be your domain. When you sign up for a Google Apps account, let me show you guys how to do this so you guys feel like you're not just hearing it from me. Okay, go to google.com/a. See how when I do google.com/a/ and then does hotprospector.com, like that's my domain that's connected to that Google Apps account. Okay, so I'm just going to go here, and this is Google Suite, which used to be called Google Apps, I guess. Okay. Google Suite, get Gmail, Docs, Drive, and Calendar for Business. Okay, so it's google.com/a, or now it's gsuite.google.com. Go in here, click Get Started. Select, put your name in here, put your email that you use at work, right? And then here's your business name, the number of employees you have, your country, and then it'll ask you if you want to purchase a domain through them, or if you want to connect a domain that you already have through somebody else here. And they take you through the steps. It's very easy. So this is what I meant by setting up your customers with a Gmail, a Google Apps business account versus, their company name at gmail.com. That's a shame. Okay. Supposedly, you can get your name at gmail.com 100 emails per day, but that's not much. Thomas, again, what they're talking about now is spamming. Okay, whoever those people. When somebody wants to spam, okay, what they're talking about here is, let's see if I can open up a notepad that's clean enough for me to. Okay, so what they're doing is they're telling you to get, your name at gmail.com, and then, your name at gmail.com, and then maybe 13 your name at gmail.com or whatever, because each of these accounts is going to give you whatever Google's limit is, and let's say it's 100 emails a day via SMTP, okay? Now, my suggestion to you is that you don't focus on trying to game the system, and that you focus on trying to have the right message. Well, let's start with the right subject line. The right message in the email, and the right call to action, and a follow-up sequence. Okay? That is what you need to focus on. Rather than trying to send out 10,000 emails a day, I wish I could cross this out, you need to send, maybe 100 a day to the right people. Because what good is it to send out 10,000 emails a day and just shotgun people with your message, hoping that one of them is going to open it up? Somebody who's telling you that doesn't understand follow-up, and they don't understand how people make money, or I mean not make money, but make decisions. There's some books that I'm going to suggest for you. One of them is, either one of these are good. Fanatical Prospecting by Jeb Blunt. This is it right here. Fanatical Prospecting by Jeb Blunt. You can get it on Kindle and read it, or it even has an audio version you can get, so you can have him read it to you. I actually last night, I read Fanatical Prospecting earlier on this year. It's good. It's basically the same stuff that I've been teaching you guys here, but you get to hear it from more of a detailed point of view from somebody who is more involved in corporate sales. And then there's another book that I suggest. It's called High Profit Prospecting. And again, High Profit Prospecting, here it is. You can get this. It's by Mark Hunter. You can get this on Kindle, or you can get it on Audible and listen to it. This book is actually, I'd say probably out of the two, I don't know, they're kind of an equal. You could probably get by with just one or the other when it comes to these books. Which one is, they're both kind of going into the same thing. Now for email, let's see here. I actually like, let's see here. I'm looking through my list here of books. Sorry, give me 1 second. Okay, for email, one of my favorite books, where is my library? Here we go. Okay, so one of my favorite books is, well, there's actually two. They're actually really good. This one here is called Hack Email. That one's pretty decent. Hack Email by Danny Flood. That's a pretty decent book. Talks about email outreach and marketing ideas, on sales psychology, yada yada yada. So that's a decent book. It's pretty actionable. It's not very long book. It's 85 pages, so something like that you can dig into real quick. Oh look, $2.99 on Kindle right now, $3. And another really cool book, while we're talking about books that I like, is let's see, where is it? Here we go. Hacking Sales. Hacking Sales. And this one's by Max. I don't know how to say his last name. Max Altschuler. There it is. This is another good book. I like these kind of books like this. Like this is only 156 pages. Because look, some of these guys, to be honest with you, as authors, like to just hear themselves talk or something when they're writing. So they just write a bunch of nonsense and fluff. But these books, like these last two that I recommended, they're pretty short, and they have like, stuff in there that you can dig into real quick. So Hacking Sales is good. And there's one other book that everyone here should read that will help you close more sales, and it's called The Dan Sullivan Question. That's it. I just gave you guys a nice little holiday reading schedule, okay? The Dan Sullivan Question is good. It's not very long book, and it helps you understand people better when you're asking certain questions, and it'll help you close more deals. Anyhow, sorry I went off on book recommendations, but anyways, that's what I would do. I would get really good at this right here. the right subject line, the right message, the right call to action, and a follow-up sequence using multiple channels. Multiple channels. And that means SMS, voicemail, email, phone, and maybe even direct mail. Okay? Cannot type. There we go. There you go, right? So this is what's important. Anybody that's teaching anything other than this are not teaching you something that is sustainable. Because this right here is that's shameful. And I'm not going to lie, I actually went that direction in the very beginning, and I got away from it. Version 1 of Hot Prospector, we actually had like this rotation deal set up where you could set up a whole bunch of emails. So I understand this model, but this is a bad idea. And anybody that's not trying to talk people out of this now and into this, look, let me ask you this, and this is how you know if this is something that's what you should be doing or not. Do you get emails? Anybody here get emails into their account from stuff that they don't want, from people that found their emails? Yes, right? I get them in my business inbox now, and in the beginning when I first set up my email account, I didn't get as many, but the bigger we're getting, the more I'm getting hit up, okay? Now, I don't have a problem with cold email, but what I do have a problem with is a cold email from somebody who obviously is a shyster and shady and slimy and whatever, and somebody that's doing this to just get into the inbox is that person. You don't need to send 1,000 zillion billion emails, right? You just need to send enough of the good ones. And if you remember yesterday or day before yesterday, I shared a tool called Bulk Email Checker. And Bulk Email Checker allows you to verify your emails. That wasn't me saying go get Hot Lead Finder and grab 10,000 emails and mail them, right, or email them after you clean them. I'm saying get that list, put some time and effort into that database, because look, your database is so valuable. You shouldn't think about how much you can scrape. You should be thinking about how much quality information you can put together that you can get into their hands that's going to help them make a decision. Because, and I'm going off on another tangent here, because there's things that affect your delivery rate, okay? First of all is your opens. Your opens actually affect your delivery rate. Somebody is opening your inbox, email. Sorry about that, guys. I just accidentally hit the mute button. So anyways, opens, that's one of the first things that affects you, right? If your email gets opened a lot, then it shows, that it's relevant. And then what happens after it's open? If there's a link in there, does the link get clicked? Do they respond? Right? Clicking reply, those kind of things. Those things all come into play just as much as a bounce rate. And there's hard and soft bounce. I would go back to the person who told you to do these spammy Gmail accounts. Ask them if they know, how to, or if they know about this stuff. Okay, your bounce rate, that matters. Your spam, spam complaints. All that stuff affects your domain. What do you call it? Your domain. There's a score. It's like a score. I forget what they call it, but there's a score that's given to your domain that basically shows, if it's a domain that can be trusted. And if your domain score is too low, I can't remember the name of it right now. Some of you might know what I'm talking about. But if your score is too low, then the lower that score, the more of your emails don't make it into the inbox. They go to spam, or they might just get ghosted. Okay? So these are all things that you need to consider. Those things. Those are the things that you should be focused on. And if you're focused on these things, no, spam score, Naga, isn't it? But that is something also that comes into play. Your spam score, which is actually something that is given to you on email. Let's see, domain, email, trust. I don't know. There's a name for it. Yeah, I can't remember what the name is off the top of my head. I'm drawing a blank. But you could do a spam score checker. Spam score checker. Yeah, domain reputation, sender score. Thank you, Naga. Sender score. The spam score checker, you can go to like a free site. There's plenty of them that allows you to put in your content, and then it'll send it to yourself and then check your score. And it'll tell you what you need to change. Sender score, yeah. Sender score is the number between 0 and 100 that identifies your sender reputation and shows you how many mailbox providers view your IP address. So anyways, the lower that score, the least likely your emails are going to get delivered. So in order to get your score higher, those things that I was just showing you, which are your, opens, clicks, response, bounce rate, hard and soft, spam complaints, spam score, those things are going to keep you with a high sender score. Let me just write that here. Okay, you get that high sender score, and then you're going to get into the inbox. So I would love every one of you guys to spend less time emailing and more time thinking about what you're doing. Spend some time sharpening your axe before you try to go cut down a tree, because there's so many people out there that are just teaching you to go and grab the biggest chainsaw, and start whacking at it or whatever, or grab the biggest axe that's dull and start whacking at it, and eventually it's going to get cut down. That's not the way you want to do it. You got to go in there and know specifically who you're targeting. And again, it's going to make your job easier. Think of it this way. If you built a list of 1,000 people, that's 1,000 leads. That list is good as long as you have the name of the the DM, the phone number, the email, the address, the website, all the stuff that matters, like that's got to be correct. This is worth a lot of money because you spent time finding out who the decision maker was and getting all this other information. So why would you throw that away if you sent them one email with no response and you left them one voicemail with no response? Right? Why? Why is that garbage? Because you know what happens? Things change. You got to send at least, I would say 3 to 4 email, voicemail, and SMS messages to a prospect, each of those channels, to really to like put that to rest. And on top of that, even then, that list is still worth money. You want to take that list and put it into lead nurture campaign. I can't type. I can't do SMS with no mobile devices. What are you talking about, Melinda? Hot Prospector sends SMS. and you're going to get their mobile devices. Look, everyone's looking for the simple silver bullet. Well, if I just scrape enough leads, no. Like, you got to think about the quality of who you're marketing to, okay? I'll show you guys another site I use. I use limeleads.com. These guys are pretty decent. You can sign up for subscription to get leads. They offer pay-as-you-go, and they have monthly subscriptions. The leads aren't cheap, but guess what you get? You get what you pay for. Look, they've got, log in, I'll show you real quick. All right, check it out. So here I'm logged into Lime Leads. Belinda says, I'd rather scrape my leads free than buy leads anymore. Shame on you, Belinda. Guess what? Where's your business now, and where was it 3-4 months ago or 4 years ago? Because you remember, you've been on my list for a long time, but I know you. So what you just said is, I know Mark is getting success buying leads, and he's making way more money than me. I'd rather not make more money. I'm going to do it my way because they're free, right? That's what you just said. And, take it how it is. That's not meant to be rude. It's meant to be real. Figure it out. If somebody's telling you who's got some success doing it another way and it's working, and you're like, but I have all these scrapers and I can get leads for free, good. Waste it. I did good scraping for years after buying leads. It didn't get me anywhere. Maybe you're not doing things right either with the way your messages go. Okay. But anyways, check this out. Here's the system. Okay. I can go in, and this is why I like to buy my leads versus scrape. I do scrape sometimes. Okay. If I'm just going to use a phone call, but if I want to hit them with an email campaign, this is what I'm going to do. Somebody give me a niche. Type in a niche. Give me something specific. HVAC. Okay. So I type in HVAC, and look, it says keyword match by job description. 609 contacts have the keyword HVAC in their job description. 147 contacts have HVAC in their company name. Okay. So here, I actually can select. Now, look at this. I'm probably going to go down here where it says plumbing, heating, and air conditioning contractors. There's 41,000 of those. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. So now I've got 41,000 contacts up here from 13,289 companies that are HVAC companies or plumbers, right? Okay. But look, I don't want to deal with the corporate controller or the plant manager. Who do I want to deal with? Maybe, depending on what you're selling, maybe the marketing, what do you call it, the CMO, the Chief Marketing Officer, right? Now that title is very unique, but specifically not the title you want to go after for these little guys. Maybe you just want to go after the owner. Okay. Now I'm looking for job description, right? So I'm going to include this in the job description. Now look, I've got 5,545 contacts at 5,246 companies. Now, I don't want to just hit every one of these guys because I know if I'm looking for smaller to medium-sized businesses, I'm going to be targeting companies that are too big here. So I'm going to go here to the additional features or filters, and I'm going to drag this down, and I'm going to go to 1 to, let's say, 25 employees, okay? And then I'm going to take my revenue down to we'll do 5 million. Okay. Now I'm down to 3,281 contacts. But here's even more excitement. Check this out. Email grade. A, 90% deliver. B, 75%. So if I untick this B, I'm only getting ones that are going to be 90% delivery. And look, 13,000 contacts. Now, I also have the name of the person. I have their name of their company. I have their website. I have their phone number. I have their email. And I know that 90% of these are going to be deliverable. Now, can you tell me what scraper in the world does that? And I will tell you the reason why you're not getting a response is because you're not marketing like a marketer, you're marketing like a spammer. Now, if I sent Ernest a message and then use this system to contact him and email him, okay, that is going to generate a much better response. Belinda, I'm not, don't take this the wrong way, okay? None of this stuff was meant to be targeted towards you. I'm just saying, specifically, I've done this my whole life. Marketing, selling over the phone is how I do it. And I don't pull in, enough money to make my bills. I support an entire company. So I bring in a lot of revenue doing the things that I'm teaching you. And I'm hoping, for those of you that understand what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to help you. The definition of insanity is doing the same things over and over again, expecting different results. If you go on to a webinar like this and somebody shows you something that you can't afford, and and then a year later, 2 years later, 3 years later, you're still in the same shoes, well, there's something wrong. You got to address it. Now, can you do what I just did without this system? Yes, you can spend the time yourself by grabbing Hot Lead Finder, pulling a list, right? Going and getting this list, and then visiting every one of their websites, going into public records, going into their, onto their, who is lookups and all that stuff to try to find their names. You can do all that stuff and find the same information, but it takes a lot of work. How much am I paying for this list? Let me show you. They have different pricing. So 48 cents a contact, the more you buy, the cheaper they get, right? Or you can go and sign up for a monthly plan, and you don't need a big monthly plan, So you pay, this is $500 a month. I'd pay $500 a month to get 2,000 contacts that I know are going to be good contacts and build my list by 2,000 a month. Because again, anybody who doesn't understand this, understand the fact that this data is valuable and that 2,000 contacts, it's exactly, Belinda, you said you can't do fees like $500, and that's what I'm trying to say. 4 or 5 years, you should be able to by now. If you're not, that means your business isn't growing. So if you can't do this, stop doing things the way you're doing. Spend more time building a good list. Spend more time building a follow-up campaign. Spend more time putting together an email that's going to get a response. Don't just focus on emails. Follow up with the voicemail. Follow up with the text message. Follow up with the phone call, and close 1 out of those 10 or 15 people versus 1 out of 10,000 and spending all your time chasing down millions of emails. And I'm not picking on you. I love you, Belinda. This is for everyone because there's more Belindas on this call than just you. There's a lot of you that are in the same boat that's been taught improperly from the wrong people out there teaching them how to prospect. This is not how you prospect. You're not going to get what you want that way. Also, by the way, guys, we actually have pay-as-you-go leads too. If you go to mark-helton.com/leads, if you go here, you can read our deal and click here. We have business lists. Base price is $300 per 1,000 records. So it's like 30 cents a record. But, line leads is good too. I'm not trying to talk them, either way. But what I'm getting at is don't just rely on this email and spam it out. That's why I was telling everybody that day, I said, promise me you're going to clean your list. Promise me you're going to go to bulk email checker when you get a list and clean it. Because if you put that big list of emails in here because you're lazy and you don't want to spend any time trying to find people who actually fit your services and you blast it out, what you're going to end up with is a email domain that is going to get suspended. And then we're going to have to reinstate your email, and then you're going to go back to the same position that you were in before. You're not going to have any leads because you're waiting for your email account to be reenacted or reactivated, right? Someone said, who has the most email? Lime does. Yeah, Lime is pretty good. I mean, I know this guy. I watched his site grow from, this little dinky site that just had a certain little bit amount of leads, and he was cheaper then. But now he's grown and he's got a huge database, and his domains and emails are good. I've used them. I don't have the $4.99 a month plan either, because I only buy what I need when I need it. I mean, if I needed it, I guess I could. But look, this is a decent way to get good quality data. Thank you, Thomas. Thomas says, brilliant words of wisdom. Thanks, we love you. Look, I'm only telling you this stuff because I don't want to teach you guys the same stuff that everybody else is teaching you that's causing you to fail. Yes, that's right, Belinda, limeleads.com. And this isn't a pitch for Lime Leads because, again, I'm not an affiliate, and I probably could make money off of it if I was, but I'm telling you this because I don't like seeing people continuously fail over and over and over again, because they're expecting, these leads that they scrape. Yes, Hot Lead Finder is a scraper. Yes, I gave you this lead. And then people were asking me, I think it was Belinda asked me if I'd add this or add that, and I said, no, I won't. I'm done with the scraper. I'm done adding to it. It is the way it is right now, and the reason why is because a scraper is just, it's only going to get you information offline. And my time is way more valuable. I'd rather spend time marketing to the right people. I'm definitely going to cut all this off the webinar because this was like an extra 30, 40 minutes of time that I wasn't expecting. So, all right, guys. That's it. I hope everyone is ready to get started and get in there and start getting customers. I hope you, would you recommend the best email spam tester? Dave, that was bulkemailchecker.com. Bulk email checker. Bulkemailchecker.com. Eric, I have to cut this off because there's stuff in here I don't want everybody hearing in the future. So I'm unfortunately going to have to. So I hope, I know a lot of people were busy and thinking, oh, it's okay, it'll be on the recording. It won't be, not this time. So anyhow, guys, I hope you learned a lot. I hope that this is stuff that you can, take to the bank, because it's helped me take a lot of money to the bank and help my customers too. All right? All right, guys. Thank you so much. I will talk to you again real soon. Enjoy Hot Prospector. If I don't talk to you before Christmas, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year to you and your family. And let's make 2017 the best and biggest year for your business ever. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.